Now, everybody is wondering, K-Dot, do you finally like Tom Holland's Spider-Man? I know everybody's wondering. Everybody is wondering. And I'll give you guys my answer soon. Film Leaders, how are you doing?
What's up, homie? I'm
Man,
doing pretty good, man. I just got out like an hour ago, so
I'm glad to hear from you, man. Look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a spoiler free, and then we're gonna do spoilers because I don't have a lot of time. So we'll do spoiler free first, get our stuff out. I wanted to go first and just say my quick little thing because our spoiler free is gonna be quick. And I really do want to get into spoilers because I know you want to get into spoilers too.
yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely.
You guys, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, and I'm gonna say this. Oh, because that's the best. That's Anzo. You know I ain't putting no Tom Holland Spider-Man as my background, and I'll tell you guys why. I am going to say this. Homecoming. I liked Homecoming. Well, after watching Far From Home, I appreciate Homecoming a little more than Far From Home. That still doesn't change the fact that I do not really like either of those films. But this film right here, I loved. I love this film. And, Spider-Man in the MCU, he came in for his first 6 months, popped up in Civil War. And we honestly waited like how many movies? Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame, Far From Home. 5 appearances for this dude to finally act like fucking Spider-Man. And this movie, he finally acts like fucking Spider-Man. Well, near I would say the second half. Would you agree with that, Elitist? Like in the second half, he's
Yeah, there's something happens in the movie. No spoilers. Like in the middle of the movie, probably the second act, and the tone shifts.
right. Like in the second half, he's finally Spider-Man to me.
Yeah, I
When we get
totally
into
agree.
spoilers, we'll talk about the other things that they do. But for me, right, going into this movie, I was here for Toby and Andrew. I'm gonna make that clear. I was really here for Toby and Andrew. They really, and I'm gonna make this clear. It's not a spoiler. They're in the damn movie. Everyone knew this. They're in the fucking movie. They're in the fucking movie, and I'm not gonna spoil what they say or what they do. But oh my gosh, it was epic. I'll say this: Toby, Andrew, and Tom have a great chemistry. The chemistry is so freaking good. And this thing I noticed about all their Peter Parkers and stuff that a lot of people said for Andrew, they're all awkward Peter Parkers. They have that weird, quirky, awkward, funny thing they got going on, and it all works. And this is what I loved about the movie, how they portrayed them. Toby in the film, he seemed like the most experienced, the most knowledgeable, and he had a certain demeanor about him. Andrew was a little bit still, kind of a rookie at it, but he had some experience on him, but he didn't have a lot of what's that word you would say? Remember, it's for Elite. You remember the part of the movie where Toby did something for Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
It was a little talk
Yeah.
where he said something. You know what I'm talking about. He had to
Yeah.
boost the confidence and stuff.
Right.
That's the thing. And Tom, he's the youngest of the three. He's a little one, but I like that he was taking point at some points in this movie and stuff when they was together, and they did that very well. Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, Elitist. Oh my goodness!
Murdered.
Now look,
Murdered,
I will say this. We're not going to spoil the moment, but remember what happened to Toby in Spider-Man 1? It wasn't as brutal, but damn.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, bro.
It wasn't as brutal as the one in Spider-Man 1 because, different time. It showed a lot more blood and stuff and really, yeah. But Willem Dafoe, man,
he brought that shit.
This guy was helping carry this movie as a villain.
I totally agree, dude.
Dr. Octopus, Elitist, great. They did him in a way that he should be done in this type of film. Like there was so much. I will give John Watts props for this. He heavily respected the previous movies that came. There wasn't nothing really inconsistent about these characters from the previous movies they came from. My only little gripe was how they portrayed Sandman a bit, appearance wise. Because in the Spider-Man 3, he would be in more of his, I don't. We're not going to spoil that, but we'll get to it in the spoiler portion. But Doc Ock was great. I like what they did with his character. Same thing for Sandman. Sandman character wise, perfect. They did it right. What I thought, Elitist, I thought they was gonna, I thought they was gonna contradict a lot of stuff in Spider-Man 3. They stayed consistent with Sandman from Spider-Man 3, and
they did.
Like his introduction, correct. Like it was done absolutely correct. I thought he was gonna come in here and be, flippy, like flip flop and wishy washy, but no, he was consistent from the third film. Perfect. Electro, as I predicted, Electro.
Out, bro.
Yeah, he had a little bit too much swag compared to the second movie. Like, did you notice that?
Of course I did, bro.
He had a lot more swag than he knew. I was like, where'd you get this fade from?
There's a couple of lines in there that are just unbelievable, but we'll get to that later. But
yeah, like I would say that Jamie Foxx's Electro was good in this movie. Do not get me wrong, he was good, but a little inconsistent from his Amazing Spider-Man 2 self because he was like a little bit too much swag.
Right.
He had to dial it back a bit, but still a good Electro. He stayed consistent. At least they stayed consistent with Electro's motivations and how he felt in the last movie. They did keep those consistent, and I appreciate that. Who else are we forgetting? Kurt Connors, the Lizard. I liked him in Amazing Spider-Man 1, but they didn't really give him much to do or say or whatever.
I'll be straight up. He was shit in this, dude. He was the worst part.
Yeah, like he was better in Amazing Spider-Man 1 to me, but in this movie, they didn't
even look like they tried to like bother with his CGI. Even they're like, let's hide him in the shadows.
His CGI looked very weird. His CGI in Amazing Spider-Man 1 a whole lot better. Special effects way better.
Yeah.
Another character we have to touch on because I'm trying to get to the big characters. Doctor Strange, bro. I did not like Doctor Strange in this movie.
Really?
All my suspicions about how he's treated in this movie came true. And I'll be honest, they really cucked Doctor Strange in this movie. I understand why. It's a Spider-Man movie, but man, they cucked him so hard.
Bro got cucked when he was... Yeah, we can't get into like what the specifics of it, but I think I know what you're talking about it. For me, it was like the tale of two halves. This movie is two different movies simultaneous, and I can't explain all of it right now, but the first half is one movie, the second half is a different movie, and the second half fixes almost all the problems I had with the beginning of the movie. Even and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Wait. I want to lead us to get his spoiler free.
I'm gonna let him finish. I just wanted to throw in bullshit. But anyway, go on.
Do you actually disagree, or did you just want to throw that out there?
I just wanted to throw that out there, but I disagree.
That's nice of you. Yeah. Pretty much, it's like the tale of two halves. Like the first half of the movie, I got a lot of issues with it. Second half, tremendous stuff. And I got to give K-Dot, to piggyback off what you said at the beginning, holy shit, man, Tom Holland brought it in this one, dude. And they worked it in a way where by the end of this movie, I'm like, finally, I want to watch Tom Holland. Like, I can't get into it too much, but...
Elitist, I'll say this great. This movie is the reason I want to see more of Tom Holland. This movie. Not Homecoming, not Civil War, not Far From Home, not Infinity War, not Endgame. This movie is the reason I want to see Tom Holland moving forward now.
Right. In a way, this was kind of his 2002 Spider-Man. Like, he goes through things in this movie and transforms in this movie in a way that I've been, like you said, been waiting 5 movies to see.
Bro. There was consequences. And
here we go.
Consequences. I was in love with it.
I'm guessing their man hated it.
Consequences, guys. In this movie, finally, there was consequences. Like, real consequences. Not stuff like, not some stuff like in Homecoming where he lost a girlfriend and now he gains a girlfriend. Not those consequences. I mean, like real shit that Toby was going through in Spider-Man 2 type of shit. Not it was on a bigger scale.
This is the non-spoiler part, right?
Yeah, it's non-spoiler. We're gonna get the spoilers.
All right, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna throw this straight out the bat. Shazam is better than this movie. Batman v Superman is better than this movie. Black Widow is better than this movie. This movie ain't bad. But let's not hype train this fucking thing up.
Hey, Nerdman,
Not hype train this
Nerdman,
thing
we're
up.
gonna call out the issues with them. Don't worry, we're gonna get there.
Yeah, and just
I gotta show love right
recently.
now.
I got you.
Nerdman, I was crying in this movie. I gotta show love right now.
Crying.
I was crying.
You fucking baby. You fucking baby.
I only cried for one scene.
What the fuck?
Elitist knows what scene I'm talking about.
I know what scene you're talking about as well.
The three together.
Mm-hmm.
That acting.
Spider-Man 2 is better than this movie.
Yeah.
No Way Home. No Way Home is better than this. Oh, sorry. What's it?
Far From Home?
Spider-Verse. No, Into the Spider-Verse is better than this movie. It's the best Tom Holland movie. Yeah, it is.
I mean, look, a lot of people were saying. I heard someone say this was the second best MCU movie. I heard someone say it was as good or better than Endgame. I hear a lot of people living in that hype right now. I'm not going to go that far.
I'm not going as far as like, but it's up there. But second best MCU. I don't know about that.
Right.
It's up there in terms of MCU movies, but.
But what you wanted it to do, it did.
I'll tell you what I liked. Yeah, exactly. Did what it said on the tin. I'll tell you what I liked about it. Here's what I like. I like the villains and some of what they did with them. I think they could have gone further, but I liked some of what they did with the villains. I'm trying not to do spoilers.
Keep it spoiler free, and I'll let you go off in spoilers soon enough.
And I did think that if this movie was trying to make an argument that Tom Holland is a good Spider-Man, it did well doing that. And I think he nailed a particular emotional scene. That's what
is it the scene with without spoiling, I'm trying to be on the same page. The scene with the three with Toby.
No. I think what he's talking about is more related
that part with the
That being said, overall, I just think this is almost exactly what I thought it would be, and kind of mediocre in terms of a film. I don't think it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's okay filmmaking. It's an okay film. It doesn't do anything fucking. It's hard to talk about without spoiling.
No, man. I'll really say if I really had to be honest, a lot of the nostalgia and stuff, and that goes with the villains. The nostalgia kind of saved parts of this film because I understand this is a Spider-Man film. In Spider-Man films, the tone is very carefree, and they're very carefree. That's Spider-Man's character. He's carefree, he's fun, and all that. I have no issue with that.
Right.
But for me, like some of the characters, especially in the second half, I'm like, some serious shit is going down. I'm not mainly.
Let me give you an example.
It was MJ and Ned. Those two. I was like,
yeah. Mainly Ned.
Why are you guys so chill? Like shit is real.
No, I didn't mind them. Everyone performed fine. It wasn't
for me, tone wise, the three Spider-Man, they were fine because that's how Spider-Man is, and even the hardest.
Hey man, that's a major spoiler, isn't it?
No, everyone knows Tobey and Andrew in this movie. If anyone thinks Tobey and Andrew is not in this movie, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Everyone knew this for months. It's been on Twitter. Everybody talking about this. Tobey and Andrews is in this.
You might as well just do your spoiler talk.
I am not going to say when they come into the movie, but they're in the movie.
Right. He's not spoiling anything specific.
All right, fine. I don't care. It's your stream, but like,
Nerdman's got the sass on his ass tonight, dude.
No, but I was just gonna say, look. About this movie, right? If you take something like the Joker movie, or you take I'm trying to think of an MCU movie so I don't seem fucking biased here. Take Winter Soldier, right? You make Winter Soldier or Joker or certain other superhero movies, and you make them about anybody else. You make Dread about like fucking Ed, right? That movie's still a good movie. You make this movie about Flyboy, right?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't that great a movie. Do you know
Well,
what I'm saying? If this isn't Spider-Man, this isn't a great movie. That's how I see it. It's
well,
an
that's why I say
okay
the
movie.
nostalgia carried parts of the movie. Because look, I'm be honest with you, Doctor Strange writing wise, huge problem in this movie. Ned was doing bullshit, and I was like, I'm just gonna give you guys a visual representation of the fucking bullshit Ned was doing. In Doctor Strange 1, I was like, I remember Doctor Strange 1. The Pickle knows what I'm talking about, and Elitist and Nerdman. This bullshit Ned was doing out of nowhere.
I'm just glad that I'm not the only person that feels this way, because I want to hear somebody make a coherent argument to why that was necessary. It really took away from some moments for me.
No, I would say the stuff Ned was doing took away from the stuff in Doctor Strange. Especially, I'm not trying to spoil it, but you know what the Doctor Strange was going through to deal with, especially the people, especially how
Ashley and I talked about this, and
learning learning stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, that's bullshit. That was bullshit what Ned was doing in this movie. That shit. But
again, I'm gonna state quite clearly, this movie ain't better than Batman v Superman.
But no. I don't agree with that at all.
Nerman, this movie is better than BVS.
No,
it is, bro.
Now,
I will say,
anything like
if the second half of this movie doesn't happen, and it's just the first half of this movie, and that's the full movie, it's just like Far From Home and Homecoming to me. Like, and it even pick, I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, the scene is out there. It's on the internet a week before the movie came out. It picks up where Far From Home left off.
Yeah.
And even though there's like a lot of stakes and stuff, like tonally, it still feels goofy at first to me. And I was like, what the fuck? I thought like the world just found out you're Peter. There was some weird stuff going on, but then it shifts,
funny enough, I thought the first half, I don't know. I thought it was all mediocre.
Yeah, like look, the second
surprise.
Second half the movie.
I know that's what people are gonna say, but it's not how.
No. Look.
Wait till I get to the spoiler, and then you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay, I mean, I'll hear you out, bro.
And look, I'll say this. Another problem I had with Spider-Man, particularly in this movie, Peter Parker, was the same issue I had in No Way Home. Like, I understand he's a senior now. I understand he's young. I understand that. I mean, Toby and Andrew, they was young too. They didn't look young, but they was young too. Like, they was barely that old in their first movies. Why did they write this Peter Parker so gullible? Like, remember in Far From Home when Peter dealt with Mysterio, was like, you can't fool me no more.
Right. After he's the reason that, like, why did he fool you in the first place with the glasses and shit, right?
Yeah, and I was like,
he makes really, really dumb decisions that don't always seem consistent with just the explanation should be he's a kid. Like, some of it's just dumb.
Yeah, like it was too much. It was too. I
didn't make as dumb decisions as in the first two, but
they write him too gullible. Like, all teenagers are not that gullible. I mean, I'm not saying they are intelligent, they're super smart, and they're on par with adults, like fully grown adults. But teenagers are not that gullible.
Right.
I know some teenagers that can run some fucking licks on me. I know some teenagers that can pull some shit on adults, and adults be like, oh shit, god damn, how do you do that? Like, but I understand he's young, but he made too many dumb decisions in this movie. But what I did like was in the second half, he was trying his hardest to make up for it. And Aunt May in this movie, I will say this, I'm gonna give a positive. This Aunt May compared to the Aunt May from the Amazing movies and the Aunt May from Toby movies. No. She's not trash.
She's trash.
She's not trash, bro.
She wasn't utilized properly in the first two movies. This movie, they utilize her perfectly. They use her more. Like, bro, she set the line. She set the line, bro. And then she was pushing him. She pushed him to do what Spider-Man is supposed to do. Help. Like, she was embedding that into his head this whole movie, and I like that. But that doesn't change the fact that in the first 2 movies, she was wasted and only used because she was sexy. In this movie, they utilized her better and properly.
How would you rank them? How would you rank them then? The Aunt Mays.
What?
How'd you rank them?
Toby, Amazing Aunt May, no, Raimi Aunt May, Webb Aunt May, and Marissa Tomei Aunt May. She's still at the bottom. But in this film, you have to admit she was utilized a lot better.
Yeah, if they had done this with her from the beginning, if you saw
the utilized a lot better,
you got to see things about her, like what she was passionate about in her life and stuff. Yeah, you know, and if you had given us a reason to humanize her in the first 2 movies instead of making her just a sex symbol, it would have been nice.
Yeah, sure. In this movie, she wasn't none of that. There wasn't dudes going around saying
bare minimum.
It gets the job done, nerd man. Where it all ends up, it works out.
I'll tell you again. I like where the movie ended with Tom.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. I like
how they got there. Did get sloppy at times, and we'll go into that with the spoilers, I'm sure, because I have a lot of problems with some of it. Just flat out, like one thing happens, and then you're like, wait, you're contradicting exactly what I thought you just learned. There's some strange things that happen, but where it ends up, man, you can't argue with the results of that.
Right. Well, you can, because if you just
man, wait, because I know you want to go off and let me just end this spoiler-free section. I want to get us into spoilers soon.
All right.
So what else should we cover in the spoiler-free section that I don't think we covered?
Let's give a shout out to fucking Happy Hogan, man. He did a good job in this one.
Oh my
Happy
God.
did a good job.
Happy was good. I thought Zendaya was, not that she was ever bad. It was just the way they wrote everything, but
she wasn't. I would say tonally, like how they was reacting to certain stuff was kind of weird, especially in the second act. But for me, I would say Zendaya and Ned, when it was time to bring that emotion to the film, especially in the certain parts in the second half and sometimes in the first half, it was bringing it.
I thought she murdered it.
There's a couple Zendaya was good. Zendaya was good.
Zendaya, I don't.
Ned.
Ned, compared to Zendaya, Ned was like, yeah. But when they required him to bring more emotion into the film, Ned did it. He did.
Yeah.
I was feeling it
as an actor. Yeah, that's true. I think it's the direction they took Ned in this movie, and some things they had him doing that made detracted from that.
Happy always been like that.
Yeah, and he was less goofy in this movie than he was in the other ones, dude. He was cracking a lot less jokes in this one.
But to be fair, Happy, he was not goofy, but Happy always been kind of chill and stuff. Like he never been no serious character. Happy always been happy.
He used to banter with Tony Stark on the phone all the way back in the first Iron Man.
Happy just got cucked, bro. That's all I know.
He got cucked?
What you talking about?
He got fucking cucked.
He got fucked over pretty hard.
Look.
That's all I can say for his character in this movie. I don't know what you guys are talking about or what you watch.
There was a specific scene where I thought he did a really good job, and I'll talk about that after this.
Can we talk about Charlie Cox?
Well, that's a spoiler.
That was out there.
Oh my! I mean, to be fair, everyone
that was out there.
Like,
that was out there.
That's true.
That was out there.
Yeah,
we're confirming it for anyone that didn't know.
Let's save it for spoilers for what he did. Because I had an issue with what he did in the scene, but I liked his appearance there.
Okay.
What other characters do we cover?
I don't know what. I think we
got all the major characters. So I do want to get to spoilers. I think we got all the major characters.
I feel like we're missing something. Maybe not. There was a lot going on in this movie.
Where would you rank this movie in terms of comic book movies this year? Please don't tell me number one. You're gonna say number one, aren't you?
It's my favorite this year.
It's
you are full of shit.
Top three for me, just a little bit. If I had to go into like, I feel, because dude, there's so much nostalgia in this movie, right? It's so much nostalgia, like so much fan service shit going on. But like, you got look, I'm gonna be honest. You got James Gunn, The Suicide Squad, Zack Snyder's Justice League. What else came out this year? Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals. This movie is better than Eternals. Is better than Shang-Chi.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. That's it.
I think it's better than Black Widow too.
It's better than Black Widow too. I'm sorry.
It's not better than Black Widow.
I think The Suicide Squad is legitimately a better movie.
The Suicide Squad.
I can't believe I'm saying that because I don't fucking like DC stuff usually.
Look. You could argue, even if you want to say that it's not clear, you could argue that Black Widow's better. You could argue that Justice League is better, and you could argue Suicide Squad is better.
I don't know. You're going to argue Justice League is better to me.
All three of those movies are better than this movie in terms of the filmmaking.
I get where you're going.
Like certain scenes, like hey, the way this was actually technically done is better.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, man, because there's a lot going on here in this movie.
And to be fair, Zack Snyder just has 4 hours to like flesh out so much stuff too.
Sure, but it's the action's better. The action's better and story's better. Acting's better in Black Widow.
Steppenwolf's action scenes was cool. Superman had one cool action scene, but like in Wonder Woman, but that's about it.
Wonder Woman had a good action scene. Fucking Flash had some good action scenes.
Steppenwolf, Superman, and Wonder Woman had like legit only the good action scenes. Let's be honest.
Anyway, I'm not even going to go into that. Basically, everything like I'm not. Look,
I think we're going to have to sit with this movie for a while.
I don't want to harp on like because I don't think it's bad. I actually think it's about a 7 out of 10. That's my ranking for it, like rating in terms of a movie. I think it's a good solid 7 out of 10. And I like where it ends up.
You give this movie a 7 out of 10?
Yeah, I like where it ends up as well.
That's pretty good rating.
That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair.
Exactly.
Well, okay, all right. Let's. I want to get into spoilers. Let's rate it real quick. Let's rate it because I want Elitist and Nerdman and I to go in. But I want to get it off because I have something to say. All right, Nerdman, you give it a 7 out of 10.
I give it a 7 out of 10.
I give this movie. I think I might go with Nerdman. You know, it's like a 7, 8 out of 10. It's like a 7, 8 out of 10. Like I can't give it a 9 and 10 out of 10 because like it's a lot of nostalgia. But I'm not gonna sit here and act and just because look, Endgame has a lot of nostalgia in it too. But I had to be real about that movie too and call out the issues in it. So you know, I'm not gonna let no nostalgia blind me. I have to be honest. This film's a 7, 8 out of 10. I can go between 7 or 8, guys. That's me. I'm not giving a definitive, but I can go between 7 or 8 out of 10. That's all I can give it.
Yeah, 7.58, somewhere in that range. I'm gonna say 8.
8. Fair enough.
Leaders gives it an 8. I give it a 7, 8-ish out of 10, 7 or 8. Nerdman gives it an absolute 7. You guys, that is the spoiler-free portion of this review. And now I want to transition it into the spoilers. Now, I want to start this off because I have something to say. This movie gave me so much ammunition for Tom Holland. You guys don't know what this movie has done. I'm about to violate this man. We're in the Spider-Man No Way Home spoiler review. Tom Holland, how would you let fucking Andrew Garfield save your woman? Trash Holland.
What are you pulling an Ashley right now?
About? Are you nuts? Dude, that was the best part of the movie.
No. Listen to what I said. Tom Holland, you done let Andrew Garfield Spider-Man save your.
We didn't really let him.
Trash.
He didn't really have a choice in that moment, you know.
Yeah, that's what they all say. You know, he could have shot a web and grabbed her.
And I liked. Okay, we're spoilers.
Green Goblin as an excuse, Elitist. Don't use Green Goblin as an excuse. Don't use him.
Hey, I'm just saying we're spoilers.
Let me
now,
have
right?
this moment.
Listen.
Okay, I'll let you have it.
He's trying to troll. Look,
you guys. Tom
Holland came off
best
in this movie. He was the best Spider-Man in this movie.
I think Andrew Garfield might have stole the show, but
no. And you know what? That's one way. That's one way to elevate Tom.
Nerdman,
all right, go on.
No, say that again because Ash is gonna watch them up on a playback. Say that again about what you said about Tom Holland. No, say it. I'm not trying to. I want you to repeat what you just said again. I want
Tom Holland was the best acting Spider-Man in this fucking movie. Straight up.
Oh, okay. Okay, acting wise, yeah. Yeah, he got a lot more to do, so in fairness. But yeah, I mean, and I think by the end of it, the takeaway I had from this movie more than anything, I wasn't dwelling on the Toby and the Andrew stuff. I was like, man, I'm excited to see Tom Holland. Like, I don't want to get right to the end. We got to get through all this shit. But
Yeah,
man, the way they ended this is so good, dude.
let's start at the top.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I do want to say this real quick. I do want to mention this. Nah, JD, I was just picking at Tom. I was just picking at him. But dude, John Watts, I give you respect for this movie. For letting Andrew save MJ like that, respect my dude. And that acting in that scene, Andrew's facial acting, I was like, damn, he at that moment he felt like I redeemed myself. Like I made up for a mistake.
Yeah, but they didn't let them dwell on it long enough. I thought that could have been a longer scene.
I mean, they could, just a couple more seconds. But other than that,
a few more seconds.
But other than that, Andrew, he saw in that scene, bro. I love that. I love that John Watts did that. That wasn't the part that made me cry, but we do got to start at the top of this film. We got to start at the top. So this movie takes place exactly after Far From Home, right? It picks up right after Far From Home, and everyone sees that Tom Holland Spider-Man. There was this. Did y'all see part where that big ass lady tried to grab his hand and stuff, like Spider-Man hit me, Spider-Man hit me, and then there was that one dude who jumped on that taxi trying to catch Spider-Man. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? I was laughing my ass off in that first little bit.
That was funny.
But while it seemed a little bit, chill and relaxed, it was kind of intense. I'm not gonna say super intense. It was a little intense. Like if I was in that situation and everybody's trying to, like it felt, I felt kind of claustrophobic in that moment. Everyone's trying to figure out who Spider-Man is, Peter and stuff. Like I felt kind of claustrophobic in that moment, just a little bit. Like it was a crazy moment. And a lot of people reacted in a crazy way, like they would and shit. Like he's a freaking celebrity, and I like that. I like how they did that intro. What did you guys think about the intro of the film, though?
Go for Miletus, then I'll go after.
I liked what you're saying. It felt like the world was closing in on him, but
yeah,
from the moment this movie opens, so like I said, about halfway through, everything I like about it, and this Nerdman will be happy about this, proud of me. The jokes in this movie at times undercut the seriousness of what's going on really badly. Yeah, it gets fixed. It gets fixed later in the movie, but was I worried?
Would you say it was as bad as Shang-Chi? Like or would you say they're about even with how they? For me, that's how I felt about Shang-Chi. A lot of the humor undercut some of the serious moments. Would you say it's on par, Elitist, or like?
I don't think the jokes are as bad as Shang-Chi, but I think that considering what's happening, the seriousness of it,
funnier.
But the seriousness of it, it's almost like I wish 80% of it wasn't there because what's happening is so serious. Yeah. So that's how I felt. But
I'll say this for the beginning. I like J. Jonah Jameson. That he was legendary in this movie. He was the best part of this movie for me. And then apart from Tom Holland, and Zendaya actually.
Did you like how he was selling vitamins like Alex Jones?
Yeah, it was great. I like the update. I like he's like a almost like a online kind of like presence kind of thing.
He had the green screen in his home too. He just had the green screen in his home, broadcasting live from home. He probably was in his underwear and stuff.
Jay Jonah was sick in this movie, bro. He always brings it. That the actor who does it. Also, I have to shout out. Sorry, I liked the villains, and I liked fucking Jamie Foxx actually brought his thing. The villains in this movie and this is where my main criticism comes from. And I'm not going to go on to the whole Andrew and Toby side of it. But it seems to me that the villains, all the people who were playing the villains got the memo. Be your character from the fucking franchise you came from. Don't be some MCU knockoff of your character. Be the actual character that you came from the thing that you came from.
Yeah.
right?
I think the
And
only
they did
Nerman,
that well, while
Nerman, I
still
think the
having
only
little spins and updates on what they become.
yeah.
They still played exactly like they'd just been plopped out of their film franchise into Tom Holland's world.
Well, Nerman, I'll
And
say
I
that the
and I
only
like
villain.
Flash as well, by the way. That was it. That's all I was gonna say. Go on.
Well, Nerman, I'll say this. 'Cause I want to piggyback off you. The only villain that felt really off to me was Jamie Foxx's Electro. He had a little bit too much swag. Like, you know, did you notice that he had a little bit too much swag compared to the Amazing Spider-Man 2?
No, I like that because
He also said one of the
had to
worst
change it.
lines ever in an MCU movie when he said, "How do you like the new?" That did not land at all for me.
How do you like the new? And then they did that effect on his voice stuff, sound like
Yeah.
put that little boom to it. How you like the new?
Yeah, that was too
But
much
he
swag.
wasn't bad. He was not bad. I would just say he was a little bit
I
too
thought he-
swagged out from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I know, but you had to change it. You couldn't make him the spider.
No, I know, but that's not
out of all of the
that's
ones
not
that I'm
consistent.
glad. Sure,
That's
but
not
out
as
of all,
consistent.
I don't want consistent.
It wasn't
if
bad.
it means
I'll
that
be a
he's
little
going
bit
to
too
be
swagged
bad
out.
again. I don't want consistent if it means doing a bad fucking thing again. So out of all the ones that they needed to change, it's good that they changed him because he was trash in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't ever want to see that character again.
Yeah.
So good that they fucking changed him and allowed Jamie Foxx to actually perform in a good way. I like Jamie Foxx in this movie. I thought he was really good, and I thought Doc Ock was good, and I thought what's his name, Willem Dafoe was fucking amazing. Those were the ones. Those were my standouts, and J. Jonah Jameson.
Another part of the film that I did like was like the parts when when I wish they showed more of this, like the parts when he's out in public and people are just so honed in and focused on him being inspired, like the school sequence, the at the beginning when he's getting accused by he's in the hold up and the police are interrogating him and stuff, like picking at him about what he did and all that stuff. I wish they did. I wanted to see a little bit more until they got to the Doctor Strange sequence, but I liked what they did and stuff. I wanted to see a little bit more. I wanted to see a moment in this movie where like Spider-Man was trying to save somebody or stop something, and then he was just getting hounded by people after and stuff, and they're kind of messing up his flow of how he does the superhero stuff. Like, yeah, you know it's messed up because people know his identity, but like I wish they kind of showed it more because I wanted to see what see a little bit more.
He doesn't save anybody in this movie.
Yeah, like they really have much of those moments either.
Well, no, he did. He saved the MIT lady.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and that was a good scene. That was a good scene.
Oh yeah, and the bridge sequence. I did like the bridge sequence. Tom Holland, okay, hey, action.
There's
one
thing I don't like about that scene though.
The action in this movie a whole lot better than the last two movies. I'll say that much. Like he was throwing hands and stuff. Shouts out Tom Holland in this movie. But the bridge sequence, I loved it, and I like the fact that when Doc Ock did take the nanotech, I thought Doc Ock was going to just like fully use the nanotech. Nah, Peter flipped it on him and like started moving his arm stuff. I like that because I was like, okay, good, because I did not want Doc Ock to have his nanotech and be using it in this movie. Like he took it and Peter flipped it on him and took control of it. And I like how he saved the MIT lady, and the MIT lady said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you into I'm gonna make sure to get you guys into."
Yeah, but that was a problem narratively. That was what I was gonna say. My problem was because
what was your issue with
it's like I just thought, well, at the end he decides not to reveal himself to MJ because they're all in MIT and everything like that. And I'm like, but wait a second, they were gonna get into MIT anyway. You had already like sorted that out, so their life wouldn't have been. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get why they did it, but it would have been probably better if the MIT lady said, "See, this is what's going to happen if you're around in MIT. I don't want."
Wait. Hold on. What is your criticism? Because I don't quite understand.
It's not a major criticism. It's like more of a nitpick. But like I was saying that I thought that it didn't track because he basically got them into MIT by saving that lady. So by the end, when he decides, I'm not going to reveal myself to MJ.
But that's not why he decides to do that. He looks at her head and sees that bandage, and he realizes she's always going to be in danger.
No, but it was all. It was all part of it. It was all.
No, he doesn't. No, I don't think so.
It was that she was.
I understand.
They were getting into MIT. Their life was better. Blah blah blah, and he just was like, "Yeah, let me not like put them in danger. Plus, they're going to MIT. It's going to be all cool. Without me, you know, they won't have any of these problems." But if the woman had said to him, "See, this is what's going to happen if you come to MIT. It's going to be all dangerous. There's going to be super villains running around fucking campus. I can't have you come to MIT." That would have made more sense.
That would have been a good speech.
By the end, I understand what you're saying, but by the end of the film, when Peter decides to do the true wish, technically she only remembers that she's only gonna remember what she did. No. She remembers that he's Peter Parker, right?
No. Everyone forgets that he's Peter Parker. That's how he undoes.
Okay, so he's not at MIT. Yeah. Okay.
And that's because if he doesn't, the multiverse is breaking.
Because he had to
everybody's which doesn't make any fucking sense.
Okay, yeah.
By the way, here's an interesting question about the film. Why the fuck did Electro even come through? He didn't know that Spider-Man was Peter Parker.
He did know.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Clearly, at the end, he says he doesn't know. He said,
no.
He takes the mask off and he goes, "Oh, I thought you were black." Didn't he? Didn't he say that to fucking Peter Parker? He goes, I always thought you'd be a fucking black dude.
Yeah, you're right. That's a plot hole. That's a plot hole.
Wait, no. But wait. Are you saying early in the movie he referred to him as Peter?
No, he's saying that Doctor Strange said they all came through because everyone that came through was people that
knew Peter Parker. Okay, I know what you mean.
Knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
So that doesn't make sense. Nerdman's right.
That doesn't make sense. Right. Fine, I don't even care about that. It's fine. It's a little plot hole.
I mean, yeah, it's an inconsistency. I'm not tripping off about it because, to be fair, Electro. Well, what they did was they did what I predicted, and I liked it. So when in Amazing Spider-Man 2, when Electro was getting sucked in, when Peter did that thing with the webs and was draining Electro's abilities, that's the moment when he came through. I predicted that's how he was going to come through. And I like that they did that because it made sense. Because you really know if he died or if he lived and got sucked into the grid. That was a perfect moment to bring him in. I like that they did that. And he mentioned that too. I love.
Can we talk a little bit about since we're trying to go in somewhat of an order, like the whole thing with how the villains are brought there and then him deciding that they need to cure them? Like,
wait. Let me get the Yellow's question real quick. Yellow, Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man 2, he put 2 and 2 together. When he saw Gwen and Peter there, because Gwen and Peter went to Oscorp, and Harry knew both of them. And then when he saw Gwen there, he just put 2 and 2 together on the spot. So he
right. But I don't think Electro ever knew.
No, Electro never knew, but Goblin knew because he put 2 and 2 together. When he saw Gwen, he was like,
right. So why isn't Dan DeHaan's Goblin there?
Yeah, Dane DeHaan's Goblin.
Yeah, then he should have been there.
Nobody wants that. That's why.
But yeah, nobody didn't want him because I didn't hate his Goblin. I hated how he became the Goblin. I thought his Goblin was good. I hated his journey to become the Goblin.
And also the design was atrocious.
It was kind of funny though.
It was funny, but I don't think that's what they were going for.
No, but they could have updated it, dude. In some way.
Real quick, I do want to mention that apartment scene. It wasn't as brutal as the Spider-Man 1 fight between Goblin and Peter, but damn, William Dafoe. And I'm not sure if y'all saw the interview. William Dafoe said the only way he was coming back to do this movie is if he got to do the fight sequences and do stuff like he wanted to do stuff. And that was for the most part, that was William Dafoe and a lot of the action scenes doing it. Yo, shouts out William Dafoe. Shouts out William Dafoe. He was whooping.
That ass, bro. Dude.
He was fucking him up. And then I like this movie he did. Tom Holland did this little ground smash, and then Goblin did this little flip and took his feet and slammed him through the ceiling. I love that shit so much, bro. That shit was so epic. He was fucking his ass up, and I love that. Shouts out Goblin. Bro.
That's where the movie really started getting good. Was that apartment scene?
Yes, that bro. Dude, I didn't like the first movie, but I gotta give John Watts props. Like he stayed very consistent with the other two movies and how the characters acted. I do appreciate John Watts for that. I appreciate him
the
for that.
villains. Yes, the villains. Yes.
You don't think that Andrew and Toby were? Because I actually thought that when they joked, I thought that they were the only two characters in a long time that didn't feel like they were force feeding like MCU jokes to them. It was organic.
Yeah, they felt like Toby was very consistent with how he was telling. They was all consistent for the most part. Andrew, that weird little quirkiness he got, the awkwardness, consistent. All was consistent.
No, it wasn't, dude. This is what I'm saying. Look, my major problem. I'm just gonna put it out there. My major problem is, first of all, there's one way to elevate Tom, and that's to make fucking Andrew and what's his name, just SNL sketch characters on your fucking film. That's basically what they did. They brought them in, and it was like, oh, this is like a little sketch. What if the three Spider-Men from the three franchises met? And we'll talk about
don't say
like
that.
The most fucking
no, don't say that, Nerman.
You don't
make me start thinking about it like that. Don't you do that? Don't make me think
it is true though. You know it's true.
I think they got enough of shine to justify that argument doesn't hold too much weight.
No, they did the most.
You're being a little hyperbolic here, dude.
I'm not being hyperbolic.
I'm not
being.
I'll give
one thing. They did not get. Sorry, go on. You can go.
I'll give you this. Action-wise, they all could have been utilized a lot more. Action-wise, like throwing more haymakers, some punches and stuff. Like they was doing a lot of. While it was cool seeing them, it was doing a lot of running and evading and stuff.
You didn't get to see Toby use any of his like web balls or really do anything special. Andrew had the one little fight with Electro and the Lizard. But the dialogue,
real quick, that callback from Amazing Spider-Man 2 when Electro grabbed Andrew and that close-up shot and his web shooters didn't break because he modified them to fix Electro breaking them. Right. But that close-up shot when he was getting electrocuted, I love that. That was a callback to Amazing Spider-Man 2. That was tight. But continue, Elitist. I'm sorry.
I just disagree with Nerdman. I agree more with you. Like it was the lack of action from those two. But when they were talking, like the dialogue between the three of them, I honestly thought that was part of the best part of the movie. Partially, one of the best parts.
I think you're saying that just because Andrew and Toby were there.
Dude, I'm not wearing nostalgia glasses because listen,
you're not actually looking at. I get.
Hold on a second. Don't tell me what I'm being objective about. Hold on a second now. You're getting a little excited. Relax. It's okay.
All right, but when you finish, I want to say my part.
Of course, I'll let you respond, bro.
Go ahead, Elitist, and then Nerdman. Go ahead.
Listen, do I have massive nostalgia, especially for Tobey Maguire? Of course I do. Am I disappointed to some degree that he got the least shine of all three of them? Sure, but I understand. And there were times, there were some lines that I was like, okay, that doesn't do anything for me, but it wasn't bad. There was nothing that made me say, "Oh my god, that's that trash MCU."
It wasn't bad. It's not.
Hold on a second, but there were also moments that were incredible. Like when he told him, he said, "I was in a team. I was in the Avengers." He's like, "The Avengers? That's great. Yeah. What is that?" That was Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker from the first three Spider-Man movies, dude.
Because he was mainly by himself and independent.
What is that? Were they a boy band?
Hold on, he didn't say the boy band. Andrew said that, and that was organic to what his character would say.
No, it wasn't.
Dude, come on,
Birdman. In Andrew's movie, he would have the best jokes and stuff, the best wise.
Right. He's much more.
And he wasn't wisecracking in the way that he was in those movies.
I know
he wasn't doing it as much
in those amazing movies. I do agree, but if you're talking about
and Toby wasn't emotional. They didn't do any of the things that I was like,
Toby didn't get a chance to have those moments because
let's do some fun filmmaking.
Toby had two emotional scenes.
Let's have Toby have like hey, like he has voiceovers and everyone's like can hear the voiceover or something like that. Like and go, hey, what's going on? Like you've got a voice. Like it was all the most obvious things. We all knew they were going to do the, oh, you've got like webs coming from your fucking hands as opposed to the machine.
That's exactly
Good that they did
for.
that. Great that they did that. But again, it was like it was the most obvious jokes. It was the most obvious things that they're going to talk about. It was the most obvious callbacks. And
Hey, you can't
everyone's going to
ignore
be happy
Andrew.
with that.
Andrew got development in this movie too, dude. You can't ignore that because
I like the fact that he saved MJ.
well, not just that, but the scene where he talks about Gwen and he talks about what he went through when he stopped pulling his punches. He got kind of dark. He went through some shit, man.
Did he seem
Elitist.
dark?
Wait. No,
Did he seem dark? Like he wasn't pulling
He
his
seemed like he had
punches
been through some
in the
shit
fight?
that the other two hadn't.
yeah,
Like he went to a
How?
darker place.
because if we look, Andrew lost the most out of the three.
Right,
Uncle
and when he
Ben,
tells him, "I love you
Stacy.
guys, and I always wanted brothers," and he's unsure of himself, and Toby tells him, "No, you are amazing." Like it over and over, they reference
Bro,
like
hey,
he's in a bad place, dude.
Elitist, I want to say this real quick. God King Toby said Andrew Spider-Man is amazing. All you better respect God King Toby. He has said it. He said Andrew is amazing. Respect it. All you Andrew haters, Toby called Andrew amazing.
Look, all
Yeah.
I'm saying is they downplayed how, like they didn't give any juicy, really juicy scenes to Andrew or to Toby, and they downplayed them so as to elevate fucking Tom. That's
I
how
feel
I
you.
feel
Hey,
about
Nerman,
it.
Yeah,
I'm not
to a degree. To a degree.
Action wise, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you on that. But for the most part, I would say this for Toby, like in the two scenes, in the scene where they all three of them first met, and the scene where he stopped Peter from trying to kill Goblin, because that was a callback to the first movie of Spider-Man 1. Because even though Goblin was completely Goblin, Peter still did not want that man to lose his life and wanted to stop the other Peter from taking his life. Because and Andrew even brought the fact he did not want for Tom to go down the path that he was going down. That anger, the rage, the bitterness.
Did you guys genuinely feel emotion in this film? Genuinely.
I cried. Nerman, I cried. When the first three Spider-Man met, I didn't cry because they all met up. I cried because of that, bro, the Uncle Ben thing. And then when it said with great power, and then Toby said comes great responsibility. I was like, bro, I was leaking tears, bro.
You didn't know they were going to do that
in that scene.
Could you have written that scene? You didn't know they were going to do that.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was hoping they was going to do it, and they did it. Bro, we don't get that much of Uncle Ben. This probably the most.
Look, I'll be honest. I get why.
And they finally said that with great power comes great responsibility phrase. Finally, in this movie.
Look,
like I didn't think we were going to get all that. But we got it, and I'm happy.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're happy about
it, man. That shot me in tears, bro.
I'm glad you're happy about it.
All on point, and Tom's acting.
Here's the thing: they did the bare minimum to achieve these emotions that you knew that you were going to feel because of the nostalgia factor.
Yeah,
but they did the absolute bare minimum. Aunt May did not have a fucking speech. She did not. You can say, oh, she was telling him the right things to do, blah, blah, blah. She had a little, tiny fucking moment.
But she was telling
they fucking kill this Aunt May, and she doesn't even give him a great speech before it all ends. She does say, with great power comes great responsibility. Good for her. That's it. And then they try and make it out like she was basically his Uncle Ben. That's all great stuff. But they did the bare minimum to achieve that. She didn't have that moment in this film. If you're gonna kill her, make me genuinely care about her. Don't make it fucking artificial.
Oh
right?
yeah. When she died, when she died, I was slightly emotional. I didn't care. I didn't really care when she died. I didn't cry. I didn't really care. I was like, because I never hurt.
Right.
I would never. What the MCU did that they should never done was turn Aunt May into some great piece of ass. Like, oh, she's a nice piece of ass. That's what they turned her into. And if that's what you're going to turn her into, that's all I'm going to really look at her as. She a nice piece of ass. That's all she was ever to me. Because that's how the MC treated her, a nice piece of ass. So trying to fix all that in this movie, it was like, yeah,
they could have fixed
okay,
it. There was a point where I thought, oh, I'm going to care about this Aunt May, especially when she started talking about like how she's dealing with homeless people or whatever. Like she's at a homeless shelter. She's helping people. I really thought, hey, they could save this by the end of it. They didn't. They killed her off in a cheap way to get us to emotionally fucking engage. And shouts out to Tom Holland. When she actually died, he did his thing. And like the way he did the way he did that scene, shouts out to him. But I couldn't feel anything. As much as he was trying to act
I get where you're coming from,
like,
because
who is this woman? Why should I care about her?
Right. No, I actually agree with you on that. Like when Aunt May and the Raimi movies gives a speech, it makes me fucking cry. You know, especially that one in Spider-Man 2. This Aunt May speech doesn't do that. Her death doesn't do that. But does it get the character where he needs to go? And even if it is the bare minimum, he had to get there, and he gets there in a satisfying way.
And that's why I say this movie's good. Right? I say it's mediocre to good.
I was surprised when they went.
And given the premise that you're bringing Spider-Man back, it's kind of mediocre. It is kind of mediocre. And yeah, the villains were nice. They did their thing. Like they did act like but they weren't given like a tremendous amount to really fucking do.
Nerman, can you at least admit that their chemistry, their banter, them, you know, talking?
No, I can't. It seemed like an SNL sketch. Hey, do you
Nerman, don't say that. You don't make me think about that. Don't do that. Don't you dare do that.
You're gonna shoot webs out of anywhere else.
Since we're doing criticisms for a second, let me throw one out there, guys.
Yeah.
One thing I had a problem with, and I know we're skipping around a little bit, but most of the people in the comments have seen the movie. So when they give Peter, Tom Holland's Peter 1, that speech about, hey, this is what happened with Gwen, and this is what happened with my Uncle Ben, and with great power comes great responsibility, and you kind of see Tom like, okay, I need to team up with you guys, and I'm not over my aunt's death, but I can't let revenge consume me, right?
Yeah.
But then they go into this thing where it's like, didn't she just die like that day, and now you're joking with them, talking about who's the coolest villain you ever fought? That was weird to me. That was weird.
That was really weird.
That was strange. Right. And then also when he gets into that final battle with Goblin, why does he go back on what he just learned and be like, nah, actually I'm gonna kill this motherfucker?
I didn't mind that. I got that. I understood that because
I mean, to me, and that's why I say elitist.
Enraged.
At least that's why I say the tone. Like, I understand what he was trying to do, but May just died, and like this dude's like, hey, what type of villains did you guys fight?
Yeah. That was a little strange.
Like it would have made more sense. It would have made more sense if he was like the Debbie Downer most of the time, and Toby and Andrew was really trying to get him to like, you know, just dude, relax. We're gonna get you kept reassuring him like we're gonna get you through this and stuff. Like I feel like he should have been a little bit more of a Debbie Downer, like, nah, we need to.
You know what they should have done if they were like more competent filmmakers? They should have had him on a revenge mission, and those two were trying to save. Only Toby and Andrew were trying to save the villains, and then finally, by the end, they convinced Tom to like join their side because he was just like, "No, I'm just gonna fucking kill this guy. Fuck this," you know. Like I don't.
Oh, I see.
It just seemed like everything was just like what I expected, and just done at the most minimum level. And as you said, Film Elite he's joking like, you know, like some minutes after, like, "Hey, that's cool. And what villains did you face?" And da 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 da. And you know why? Because that's obligatory. That's what we expect. That's what people and fans in their minds imagine.
Yeah, it's the MCU brand.
It's obligatory.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I can admit that I'm not brainwashed here. I get it, but it does piss me off too.
I don't think it should piss you off. I don't think it's bad. I'm just saying it's okay.
No, it does annoy me. It annoys me because it's like I still like where he ends up at the end of this movie, and I was very surprised and impressed with some of the things they did. But in those moments, it's annoying, and it's annoying when Toby is talking about Harry, and you're like, "Holy shit, I didn't think they'd go there." And then Ned,
and they kind of
turn it into a joke, right?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Like, why? Just don't put it in there if you're gonna do that, right? Because well, why?
Because it undercut it. Because that was a very serious moment in Spider-Man 3, like when Harry fucking died and shit. And then, mind you, I did laugh at it, but I was like, looking back, because it was funny Ned's reaction, but the moment itself, that should not have been a funny moment. That should have been a very serious moment, and that's what I say. Ned, fucking fat boy. Why the fuck was Ned doing this shit so easily? But it took Doctor Strange and other wizards, a long, even though Doctor Strange hands was messed up in Doctor Strange 1. Mind you, they had to train to do this stuff. This motherfucker Ned was like, I wish Peter was here. I wish Peter was here.
Right, like, that was a dumb way for them to come in, wasn't it? Kinda. Really
no, I wouldn't say it was dumb, but I was like, don't let Ned be the one to do it. Like this motherfucker, Tom, in their way of trying to introduce it. Well, I talked to my mom, and she said we have magic in our family. Sometimes I feel these tingles in my finger.
Oh god, so, yeah. Grand Nanny Ned was totally unnecessary too. Like that whole thing with her
Ned was unnecessary, man.
Yeah, dude. And when they had him in the Doctor Strange cape at the end, like saving him, and like Doctor Strange looked at him to acknowledge, like, I'm gonna train this guy in the future. That was fucking. That was too much, man.
Can you do me a favor? Like, really? Like, I'm serious. Like, can this movie franchise do me a favor? Get rid of Ned and bring that Flash kid in, because the Flash kid's funnier. He's got better comedy timing. He made me laugh quite a few every time. Like, yeah, no, I'm the best friend. And by the way, shout outs to that like little swipe they took at DC with that Flashpoint thing. I thought that was funny. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I saw that.
That was a swipe at DC because they knew that the Flash movie's coming out and it's going to be like a Flashpoint movie, like this.
A multiverse.
They were saying, "Fuck you." Look at our movie.
I mean, look, I think it would be a fuck you. It would be a fuck you if someone like dissed that book. No, it would be a fuck you if someone dissed that book in the movie and it had the name Flashpoint on it. Nobody was dissing Flashpoint.
No, but why would you call your biography Flashpoint?
Right. In a movie that's also about multiple characters when we're getting multiple
look, I'm not saying that was actually
it was funny. I liked it.
But it wasn't look, I saw this on Twitter. There was this main Snyder idiot, Geralt of Snyderverse, trying to say, it's Marvel taking shots at DC. I wouldn't say it was a shot like that. It was just a reference. Like it would have been a shot if someone said, "Oh, Flashpoint's a dumb name. What type of title for a book is that? That's trash." Then I would say it's a diss.
No, K-Dots.
That was not a diss. It was not a diss. It wasn't a shot. It was more of a reference than a shot.
We're doing it. Look at
it's kind of meta. It's kind of meta.
It is very meta. They're acknowledging Flashpoint. I'll say this. They're acknowledging it. I was there dissing it.
No, I didn't care. I thought like that's funny. I hope Flashpoint.
I mean, it was I like the little.
I gotta disagree with you on the thing about Flash Thompson. I agree with JG, man. Honestly, outside of Zendaya, I don't think any of his side characters do that great. None of them seem like they need to be there.
Amazing Spider-Man 1 had the better Flash. That Flash, when he came in for Peter to try and comfort him, well, not comfort him, but like, check on him about his uncle, and then he was calming Peter down, like, yo, man, understand, like, relax. I understand where you're going through. I understand where you're coming from because I was there. Like, Amazing Spider-Man 1 had the best Flash Thompson out of all of them.
No, it had a good Flash, but that's not my point. I'm just saying the kid, I don't know that he's the best Flash Thompson, but as a comedy actor, he is a better comedy actor than Ned. He's funnier. That's what I'm not saying he's more like the Flash from the comics. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's less annoying and funnier than Ned.
Well, yeah.
I agree.
I think they're both useless, really.
Yeah,
no, I think he's a good actor.
He's a good actor, but he's not bringing anything special to this role.
Like if they ever do Agent Venom, do we really think that Flash Thompson could be Agent Venom?
Yeah, and also if we have this much comedy, if it's so necessary that even Tobey Maguire referencing Harry's death is a joke, do we really need extra people doing comedic characters? Like, I don't see what they're there for at all. And did no one else? Sorry, go ahead.
And look, Elitas, I'll say this since you brought it up. Ned and MJ did not need to be in the movie, especially with them trying to find the villains. Peter could have done all that on it.
Yeah, that was some dumb shit. Why did he need their help?
Yeah, like Peter is very smart and intelligent.
And why is he bringing Aunt May to the apartment with him to help these villains? Why would you do that?
Yeah, because
You
I
know
was
what
like,
I'm
why are you
saying?
bringing her around that
It's a good point.
potential danger and stuff? I was like, that's why I say I understand he's a kid, but stop making him so gullible and just doing shit.
He does a lot of dumb shit.
And Far From Home, he literally said to Mysterio, which to the audience, you can never fool me again. You can't fool me again. That's supposed to mean something. Oh no, he just gets fooled again in this movie. He gets fucking tricked. Well, to be fair, he did catch Goblin in it when what he was about to do before Goblin could trick him first. Like he did web him and catch him. But even then, bringing Aunt May around the danger, bringing Ned and MJ to this place, and Doctor fucking Strange. I understand you can't make him too powerful, and he can't be here that much. But why is Doctor Strange losing a fight to Spider-Man?
I thought that was good.
I actually like the way they did that. The way he figured it out,
like the
math and stuff. That was
I mean, because remember, how was Spider-Man able to move his body?
Okay, none of that made sense. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, no one told us how he did that. No one told us how he did that. By the way,
that was one of the most.
I thought they were going to say that was this. I thought they were going to say that was his spider senses or spider tingling or something. But
also he swam over to his body and got back into it. That was crazy bad. Dude.
Yeah, and then the joke afterward was like, "Oh, that was one of the coolest things that ever happened to me." But like, don't do that again. I was terrible.
But the actual fight sequence in the mirror dimension.
Yeah, the fight sequence was good. But Doctor Strange should have won that fight. I'm sorry, he should have won that fight.
No, he shouldn't. It's Spider-Man. Spider-Man's the franchise player.
No, I know he's a franchise player, but Doctor Strange has magic. Spider-Man has webs and agility. That's it.
Yeah, but
Dr.
he's
Strange
intelligent, though.
Stronger being.
He's intelligent.
Yeah, I know he's intelligent, but when the fight became bullshit when he started fucking moving his hands and went back into his body. Like that shit should have never happened. I
think what K-Dot is saying is they nerfed him in that moment because Doctor Strange
nerfed him so much, and Doctor Strange is way more competent in the fight.
Right. You're telling me Doctor Strange doesn't have a spell where he can just freeze Peter and just grab the box from him?
No, I know, but I think
this movie than he should be.
I think Doctor Strange, one, was pulling his punches, and then two, got surprised by.
That's kind of what I thought.
And number one,
and I think that was fair enough. And I think it was clever. I thought it was clever because it was the problem I had. I was like watching these trailers. I'm like, if Doctor Strange is there, why the fuck does he need Peter to take on all these villains? Like Doctor Strange could have taken out all of these villains by himself. They needed to get Doctor Strange out of there for this to actually even be a problem. Right?
That's
it still doesn't make sense why he initially told Peter to go find them all when he could have done it.
He could have done it because he found Lizard first. He found him. He knew what happened before, and he literally ring slinged Dr. Octopus into his prison and Peter into the sanctum separately.
Right. He got 2 of the 5 villains. Why did he?
And I understand it's Spider-Man's movie. I understand that, but Doctor Strange was cucked super duper hard. I mean, Infinity War was a different type of cuck, but this was cuck. Like, damn, it's as and one thing I did like that they confirmed that Wong was the Sorcerer Supreme. I like that was confirmed that.
And at least when Doctor Strange is tied up in the mirror dimension, it makes sense why he's absent. That was okay.
Right. No, that's what I thought. I thought that was a good reason to get him out of there because you cannot have him teaming up with the Spider-Men to take on these villains because it's over. It's finished.
Oh yeah, why wasn't that's the thing? Why wasn't Venom locked up in it too?
Here's the thing.
Well, he didn't know Peter. Wait a minute.
No, he did because he saw him on the television.
No, but remember, he didn't know who Peter Parker was, so why did he come?
Yeah, because it was the announcement saying that Peter Parker killed Mysterio. That's what he saw on the TV.
No. He saw that when he came into the MCU.
No, it was before, right? Or was
remember? So he's chilling in that bed, and it's like all poor and stuff. He's in a trash room, and Venom's talking about the hive mind across the multiverse, and then the magic spell starts happening, and then Eddie's into the world, and when the TV plays, now he's in the MCU and he sees Tom Holland Spider-Man. He didn't know.
I'm gonna chalk that up to Sony and Disney don't have all their ducks in a row.
Yeah, that was just not good directing.
But
just
to AMF,
man.
Just quickly to AMXF, Kevin Feige recently did come out, and I was surprised by this. Said that he loved Tom Hardy's Venom.
Oh,
the moment he saw him, he said the moment I saw him, I was working on how to get him in here.
Yeah, he did say that.
I thought
so it wasn't just that Sony did it on like a whim or just did it out of nowhere. It was planned, but it wasn't planned good. They got the symbiote into the MCU, which is cool, but like, you know, Tom Hardy Venom shouldn't have been there based off how this plot was going, because only people who knew Peter was coming through, or who knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man came through the multiverse.
Can I say just lastly, this is like, because I don't have like so many massive problems. I just think the movie overall, I think it's very forgettable. I think we're going to forget it in a month. I think we're all going to go back to Spider-Man 2 and things like Into the Spider-Verse when we think of like the real classic Spider-Man movies. I think this one's just going to fall right under like the least good of the best ones. That's
oh yeah, no, look, Nerdman, Spider-Man 2 is still better than this. I still got
Amazing Spider-Man's better than this.
I still got Spider-Man 1 over this. I ain't gonna lie.
Spider-Man 1's better.
The nostalgia, dude. I'm telling you, the nostalgia helps a lot of stuff in this movie. It does.
And there is a ton of forced, like emotional, like where they're like right at the end where he's about to forget, like you think like this is going to be a really emotional moment where you'll be feeling a lot, where MJ's going to forget who Tom Holland is, but you don't feel anything, and they've got that cheesy music going over the scene and them kissing, and it's nothing. It's just nothing. Nothing hits in the way it should for a movie that brings back fan favorites like this. I'm sorry to burst everyone's bubble. It's a completely forgettable movie, and but it's nice. It was a nice time at the cinema. I'm not gonna, and it's certainly not. It's certainly not as bad as like Shang-Chi or like fucking the worst MCU movies. It's decent, mediocre to decent.
Elitist, anything else you want to say more of? What you got?
I mean, I disagree with Nerdman. I'm not going to say it's decent, mediocre, it misses the mark. I'm not going to, go that far with it. Like, do some of the moments not make sense? Are some things downplayed? Are there some jokes I don't like? Is there some stuff going on, especially in the first half, that I don't enjoy so much? Yeah, sure. But what I wanted from this movie, I got. And I got some things that surprised me too. Right?
Which things?
Well, I mean, okay, at the end of the movie, I did not expect Peter Parker to have the whole world forget who he was, be studying for his GED, walking into an apartment alone, realizing, hey, I'm alone. They stop, and he has that look on his face.
That's the best bit of the movie.
Oh, and that new suit.
Literally the best bit of the movie, and the new suit.
The suit. He has an actual Spider-Man suit I wanted. Why couldn't he just build that shit the first time? It took him this long to sew some good shit. Like did he never have a sewing machine before?
But we got that actually, does that even make sense? Why would you have all this tech and then go, I'm just gonna sew a suit and fucking be like, I don't even get his reasoning. Nothing in the film.
Well, to be fair, Nerman, I'll say
for him to be like, oh yeah, I should do that.
Nerman, I'll say this.
I liked it, and I want to see that movie. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I want to see the movie that like little 1 minute clip where you see the sewing machine and everything. I want to see that movie. The movie I saw, and nothing sets up in that movie that he's going to do that.
Yeah, not seeing Peter. I do. Yeah, he doesn't have a family. No, he's alone. Which
think about it. Think about it, elitist. You've got fucking nanotech, fucking a suit that just appears and flashes off whenever you want, and you're gonna sew a suit and just go like.
Well, he doesn't.
Why would you do that?
Here's the thing. At that point,
because they really didn't say where the suit went. Because I'll say this real quick before elitist goes. Remember when he took back some nanotech from Doc Ock? Why do you only take back just a little bit of the they take it all back because why did only the things come back? Because Doc Ock didn't take all the nanotech. I was wondering, where did that Iron Spider suit go? Because it wasn't completely damaged or gone. He took back some of it, and then the suit just disappears. Like, this is gone.
I mean, I took the ending as him saying, like, do I need to see him put the suit away to know what they were going for right there? I don't think so. I got the indication that he's had this realization. He sees the Band-Aid on Mary Jane or Michelle, and he sees that he's only going to cause his friends trouble. Happy doesn't know who he is anymore. He doesn't have the access to that tech. Does he still have that old suit? Sure. But he wants to do things on his own steam. He doesn't want to go back to being an Avenger and being a Tony Stark surrogate and having his friends involved. He wants to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and be alone, and he's alone in that apartment. And when he looks at that police scanner, dude, I mean, it was just so... Oh, man,
Yeah.
I was blown away by that. And the new suit that he sewed, dude, looks so beautiful. And then he has the epic swing.
Here's my alternative theory. Here's my alternative theory here, Phil Milley, is
go ahead.
That's done for fan service because they know all our complaints about Tom Holland, and they put that in specifically for you. So you'd go right at the end of the movie.
You're so cynical, bro.
No, but it's true. You know it's fucking true.
I love you to death, but you are so cynical, man. Like,
oh, come on, bro.
I mean, look,
it's not. Are you telling me that moment isn't earned? That moment isn't earned, dude. You don't understand why he would be in a place to sew his own suit.
It's not earned, not by this movie, because it wasn't set up. And I'm gonna be real with you. Again, you don't like Shazam. I know you don't like Shazam. That scene in Shazam where he confronts his mother, like who abandoned him, better than anything in emotional scene in this movie. Better done, better directed, more emotional, genuine emotion, not just like, oh, you know.
You're talking about when who abandoned who?
His mom abandoned him, and he goes to see his mom and finds out that she abandoned him when he thought that all this time she just accidentally lost him.
I didn't catch something you said. What movie are we talking about?
He's talking about Shazam.
Shazam.
Oh, fuck off, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck
Here
off.
we go. Here we go.
Fuck. Are you doing a parody? What is? You're talking about SNL skits, dude. What is this? What are you doing right now?
Look.
Why are you doing this,
Nerdman? I'll say this and I'll give you this. It doesn't make any sense that he's not using the Iron. Well, the Iron Spider. This thing about the Iron Spider suit. That shit should never been introduced in the first place because I knew we was going to have this problem. He was inconsistent with it in Far From Home. He was inconsistent with it in this movie. It pops up, it's gone, and now he's not using it because he has the nanotech. He has that nanotech suit. I mean, it didn't just get taken away. The only thing that got taken away was that people forgot him, and nobody is going to ever remember Peter Parker again unless he really explains who he is to them to make them remember.
But now, maybe the reason he gets rid of the suit is that he has that moment with Happy at the graveyard, and he sees like, hey, you know what? I'm alone. I don't need something that someone that's not here gave me. I'm my own man now, right?
And elitist. I'll say this: maybe he does still have it, and he just is choosing not to use it. Which I'm fine with that.
But does it make sense?
But this is the thing.
You're facing all these threats.
It doesn't make sense. But I do not want to see him touch that Iron Spider suit again. I do not want to see him touch it again. If he ever puts on that shit again, because he's just going to be doing the same thing again. It's going to be inconsistent. He's going to use it. He should be using it all the time because that thing's bulletproof. It protects against all this stuff. It's like, if this is the case, I'd never want to see that Iron Spider suit ever again. If I see it again, I'm going to blow my brains out. I just want him to use that classic suit that he stitched up, and that's it. Let him use that.
Sure.
No more.
I mean, it's
hopping between suits and stuff because one suit is great at this, another suit's great at this, and then he should be using this suit, the better suit, and then he goes back to using this bullshit. It's like,
look, I like the suit. I like that he
on all his next trilogy.
I like the suit. I like the fact that he did that. I like the fact that that's where the movie ended off. It was like a great trailer for a new Spider-Man series, but it wasn't. I don't even see that as it was just like an offshoot that really had very little to do with what this movie had actually presented of him. I didn't get why he would do that, but fine. If it took this movie to get him to be actual Spider-Man, fine. Then the next movie is going to be good. And he's good in this movie. He's not great. He's not like as good as Toby in Amazing Spider-Man. He's not as good. Oh, sorry, in Spider-Man 2. He's not as good as Andrew in, Amazing Spider-Man, but he's good. He's, he functions. That's it. And look, and quite frankly, they didn't give Toby or Andrew the scenes to be able to steal anything from him. He won by default in this movie.
Yeah. They like, look, in the action scenes, they downplayed some of them heavily. Like when Peter. Well, to be fair, in the first Andrew movie, Lizard was a lot stronger than Peter, and Peter needed Gwen Stacy's dad's help because Lizard was that much stronger, so that makes sense. But like, they had a lot of good swinging moments together. It was good seeing them move around and stuff. But mind you, in that last final act, it was a lot of running, dodging, evading, not much of punching, and like it was a lot of evading and dodging. I understand what their plan was, but I just wanted them to, hit harder. Because the best action scene was when Tom was fighting William Dafoe and going straight up hands, like when it was just now when the end one and the part in the apartment when they was fighting, when William Dafoe was straight up wrecking him. Best part is Tom was really throwing hands, like going in there. But other than that, I was like, I just appreciate the banter. I love seeing them. I love seeing them in the movie, but that banter.
You could have had that on an SNL sketch. Honestly, you really could have had all of their banter in a straight up SNL sketch, and you wouldn't have noticed.
That's the nerd man that keeps on making think. Don't you do it, nerd man? Don't say that again, because I'm going to think about this.
We're gonna watch those scenes, and you're gonna think back to it and go, you know what? It's kind of right. That could be an SNL sketch.
I mean, it could. I ain't gonna lie.
It's not deep, like kind of like emotional or really humorous.
They wasn't bad scenes.
They weren't. They were good SNL sketches. Yeah, they weren't fucking. I just expected more of Toby, and especially Toby. I expected more, and I expected more from Andrew. And I expected them to really capture the spirit of what they were and tell us where these motherfuckers had gone. How had they developed since that time? It's been a long time.
They did. And remember,
really. I mean, it was. So
they didn't give us a lot, but Toby, he confirmed he's with MJ. They didn't confirm they have kids, nothing, but he's with MJ. He's making it work. Andrew, he's not with nobody. He's just doing as though he's solo Peter Parker. Yeah, they didn't give us a lot, but they could have gave us more. But I'll say this: the moments where Toby and Andrew was personally talking together, like I like that stuff. I felt like their chemistry, those two by themselves, was really good. Toby and Andrew, like when they was just talking, I liked their chemistry. I liked it.
It was all right. It was all right. I'm not gonna say it was bad. It was all right. It could have been something more. I don't know. I don't. It's not like I'm saying I could sit here and write a better scene in my head or whatever. I'm just saying, I didn't get the feeling this is the last time we're going to see those two.
I want to say
Spider-Man.
I thought we were going to see them again.
Okay.
Awesome. Maybe we may see Toby Multiverse Madness. I don't know. But I feel like in the future Spider-Verse movie, this ain't the last time they're doing this. This ain't the last time. As long as Toby and Andrew are alive and well.
I can hear you sighing, Phil Militis. I'm not trying to shit on your cornflakes here. I think the movie's decent.
No,
dude. Anyone who says it's terrible is a fucking liar.
I've been waiting for a chance to respond, and I'm going to let you know what I feel now. I've been articulating it in my mind, formulating the webs together. Here's the thing, right?
Go ahead and say your thing because I want to get to some positive, but go ahead and say your thing, Nerdman.
Yeah. All I was gonna say is, look, man. I went out and got something to eat after this. I felt slightly deflated because I had personal expectations for the Toby and Andrew stuff, specifically Toby, right? Like you're saying. But if I'm objective and I take that part out of it, of me being personal expectations not living up to them, right, which isn't fair to the movie because everybody's got different expectations. What else do I have a problem with? Mainly some stupid shit that happens in the first half of the movie, but the second half, fucking sensational, dude. Like, what do I have to complain about other than I didn't get enough of what I personally wanted? So I don't know what you're saying. Like, how does that make it a mediocre movie?
Okay. So let me go over this again, like, because I think you're thinking that I'm saying something along the lines of that my disappointment is because there could have been if, to be honest, if Andrew and what's his name weren't in it at all, I would have been disappointed, completely disappointed. But having said that, there could have been less of them, but they could have been utilized better, or there could have been less of them, but the story was much better.
Well,
there's a lot of things that could have happened.
To be fair, if it wasn't for Toby and Andrew, Tom wouldn't have been able to make those cures for Lizard and the Green Goblin cure.
Sure, I mean,
it was their scientific minds coming together. But I feel you, they could have done a little bit more. Do not get me wrong, I'm there with you, Nerdman. They could have done a little bit more. But I was okay with what I got, but they could have done more. I'm not disagreeing.
My main issues with this is that the emotions that they clearly wanted you to feel, and that I think some people are going to say that they did feel because they forced themselves to feel it, is not actually there because the film itself and what is being presented to you doesn't get you there. You have to do the extra legwork to get there, because essentially the scenes between Toby, Andrew, and Tom become SNL skits. There isn't the emotional kind of work done to make you care for any of the stakes set up in the movie. For instance, Aunt May dying, you kind of felt deflated. The end scene with sorry, my voice, I'm losing my voice, but the end scene with MJ forgetting the music over it was kind of like mediocrely kind of like put together, and it was like, oh yeah, let's put some music over this scene and hope that people feel emotions about it. It just wasn't done that well. So all I'm saying about this movie, everything in it is just like, we knew that was going to happen, and that you're going to feel something because of that, but you can elevate what you're feeling about it more than what the film is actually doing. How the filmmakers construct the scene and construct the dialogue and all of those things actually being the thing that gets you there, rather than you're just seeing Toby and Andrew on screen and that's what's getting you there. Do you see the difference? Do you understand that? There's a massive difference in that, and I'm sorry, my voice is like, I'm losing my voice, so I can't like explain things like as much as I'd like to, but that's my problem with this movie. It's just Andrew and Toby's there and these villains are there, so you're going to feel something, but is it the actual film doing that? And the directing and the score and the acting and everything getting you to those emotional places.
Elitist.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you're inconsistent with how you grade these things. Like, when it's something you want it to be, like something that you're passionate about, all the shit you're saying now, your Mr. Objective goes out the fucking window, dude, and that's why I have a problem with it. Like, if you keep the same energy with the Flash movie when it does some shit like this, the things you're complaining about, but times 10, then I'll be like, all right, Nerdman's just saying what he really sees for what it is. But you don't do that, dude. It's frustrating, man.
I mean, to be fair, to be fair, Nerdman has always stated he does not really want this Flash movie in the way it's being done.
Yeah, but when he sees Keaton and Affleck chopping it up, he's gonna be like, "Oh my god, they were so organic to the way they were written from their own movies. It was so beautiful." When Ben Affleck cut that guy's head off, it reminded me of how he killed people in BVS. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. How the Grinch stole my No Way Home joy, dude. God damn, you're dark on this one, dude. You're darker than Tom Holland when he's trying to kill the Goblin, man. Seriously, dude. I just
watch the movie again. It's a completely forgettable MCU movie. You know it.
Hey, look, there's parts of what you're saying that
this dude elitist.
I think.
Hey, look,
I want to clip that. I do want to clip that. That is funny.
I might have to edit that part out and upload that.
That's for Ashley, and that's for anyone else that knows what Nerdman's about. All right, someone's got to stand up to him. All right.
I'm gonna do this. Okay, let's do this.
Let's unpack it.
Let's take that Flash scene at the end of Justice League. Let's take that scene. Fuck it. Do you know what? Let's take a scene like it was what was it? Cap America. I'm trying to think of this Cap America scene. It was in Winter Soldier. I'm trying to remember it because I haven't seen the movie that many times. But there's like a certain scene where he's like confronting Bucky or something like that right at the end, where they build up and like he's just letting Bucky punch him out or whatever. Let's take a scene like that, or take even the No Man's Land scene. Where is that scene in this movie? Where's the No Man's Land scene? Where's that Flash scene? Where's where he turns back time? Or where's that scene where Cap America is just letting fucking Bucky just punch him, and he's saying, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna be with you to the end of the line. Where is that scene in this movie?
It was two of them. The scene when Toby, Tom, and Andrew met up and they had that dialogue trying to help Tom, trying to help him out and reassure him that, you know, we all go through the same stuff too, trying to help him get through it. That was a really good scene, bro. It really was good. I dropped tears in that scene. That scene was good, man. That scene was really good.
Yeah.
Very emotional.
I will tell you, I'll try and help you out. I'll try and help you out because that's not it. There's a scene that maybe could have been that, and that was when Andrew saved MJ. Could have been that.
You're saying the emotional resonance?
The emotional, like, just from all of the filmmaking coming together, all of the story, coming together at a certain moment into a crescendo, where you all of that, like, feeling that has been building up in this movie, like, comes and you just feel the fucking emotion of it. Where is that in this film? It does not fucking happen. A bunch of fan service happens, but that scene, the build up to the crescendo, does not happen.
Yeah, no, okay. I mean, I guess I get what you're saying, but I could give you this. I mean, what I thought was awesome was when you do have the build up. Now, you can sit here and say the stuff about Ant-Man. I understand that in other movies we didn't have that build up, but in this movie we have that build up of what she means to Peter and the lessons that she's about and the morality and stuff. And then she dies, right? And it's because the world knows that Peter is who he is, and he's made the mistake of letting these villains stick around. And then all the shit's kind of crumbling down on him, and you see this moment where he's staring at that billboard or the teleprompter thing.
That was a good shot.
That's fantastic, right? And it's raining on him, and he's beaten and bloodied, and he's just lost, and he's watching Jay Jonas. That was fantastic, dude.
That was good.
Yeah, that was great. I thought that I mean, does that match Cap and Bucky? But I mean, almost nothing in the MCU matches that moment.
So why are we talking about it like it's one of the greatest comic book movies or even one
Did
of
I
the
say
best
that?
MCU movies? No, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about like
It's definitely
the
one of the
general
best MCU
reception.
movies. Now, is it as a film overall better than Winter Soldier, Civil War?
Black Panther? No,
Well, it's better than Black Panther.
no, it ain't.
I think so.
I
It's
mean, if
not
we
better
talk
than Black
film
Panther.
wise,
It's not better than
I
Civil
got
War.
Black Panther over it. We're talking about like film, writing, all that. I got Black Panther over it.
Right.
But if I had to compare it to the movies this year, because I gotta watch this movie again. I don't want to be completely biased and just say this is the best MC movie or this is the top 10. I want to watch it again because I have to watch Black Widow again to realize, it's in my lower, probably in my top 15, but not my top 10.
Yeah.
But
All right.
I want to watch this movie again. But
dude, we can do a ranking right here. But like, I'm just saying, like,
no,
of the
I won't
MCU
have time,
movies.
bro. But we can.
No. I know.
For
I
a
just
ranking.
mean I just mean off the top of my head. Civil War's better.
Okay.
Fucking Captain America: Winter Soldier's better. Iron Man's better. It's better filmmaking. What's the Black Panther? I think is arguably better. And I do think it's got a more coherent story, better use of villain, etc., etc. There's what are the other good? I don't like Infinity War Endgame, so you probably
Guardians
put
1.
them over.
I mean,
Guardians 1 is better.
If we had to be honest, if we had to compare the writings of this film to another movie that kind of does the same thing as this, Endgame and No Way Home are kind of even. If we're talking like how the writing is done, it's kind of sloppy, but some parts in the movie make up for it.
I think
like
it's
that's
better
how I
than
kind of look at it.
Endgame.
I look at it kind of like Endgame.
Yeah, I think it's better than Endgame and Infinity War. I'll give it that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, Nerdman? Oh shit, that's. Well, to be fair, elitist, Nerdman does not like Endgame and Infinity War. He will tear those movies down. I will too, but
I think because of the build up for those two movies, it might be different, But I don't know. It's top 10 MCU movies for sure. I mean, it might even be top 5.
Sure.
I feel like this movie will end up. This is top 10 for me. Like it's up there, but I want to watch it again. But I still believe this will still be in my top 10. It's probably my lower top 10, but I can see this movie being in my top 10. It's Tom Holland's best Spider-Man movie.
His best performance. Best performance of Spider-Man. But here's the thing about it. I can understand why people love it. I really can. It's not like one of those movies where I'll be like, I think you're crazy for liking this, or I think you're crazy for loving it. I get it. You got Tom and you got Andrew back. You got all three Spider-Man sharing the same scenes. They weren't terrible scenes. They were like quite, gave you a bit of a chuckle here and there. They did all the things that you wanted, like on the tin. They mentioned Uncle Ben. They had that discussion. There were some stakes in the movie. The villains were good. At least the acting, maybe the way they were used wasn't all that great, but or all that imaginative, but it was good. So I understand it.
Nerman, real quick, I did want to throw in a positive. So you guys, I appreciate this movie so much for the way they introduced Sandman, because that was totally accurate and on point. I like the fact that when he came in, he was helping Peter. He wouldn't try to fight him. He didn't try to kill him. He came in and helped him because of the ending of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I love that. That was very consistent. And I like that in the movie, his motivation to go back home to be with his daughter was consistent. Like he didn't just randomly change his motivation to like, oh, let's stay here and be evil. No, he wanted to get home to his daughter, and I love that.
Yeah. We haven't talked about the spell. The spell didn't actually bother me as much as I thought it would. Like
it didn't bother me.
How the spell went wrong and stuff.
it was Tom
They
Holland.
faked us out with the trailers. Like
Yeah.
they clearly misled us, which was good, you know.
Because Doctor Strange explained, he made it clear. Everyone will forget you. Tom Holland was the one who annoyed me about that spell. His Spider-Man was the one who annoyed me because I was like, dude, he straight up told you what's up. Why are you asking questions? He told you everyone will forget. Like he said it.
Yeah, and he could have just gone back and told the people, and that was it. Like,
yeah. Doctor Strange prior to the spell was good. Like he was good, but after that he was a little wishy-washy. But prior to the spell, he was good. I had no issue with it. It was Tom Holland who was the problem. You know, mind you, they have to do this stuff to make a plot happen, but you could have done something different. You can still have it happen, but let it be something else. Like the spell itself, like the way Doctor Strange was saying the spell itself was already, you know, a huge spell. Something big because he was doing it worldwide. So I mean, you know, some things still could have went wrong.
And what are your top 5 moments from the film? Because I want to get into something we haven't mentioned yet.
My top 5 moments from the film: Doc Ock becoming, you know, Otto Octavius again. Him becoming sane. I love that scene. I also love the scene where William Dafoe's Goblin was talking to himself. He's talking to the mask, and then he broke it, trying to run away from himself, but he still ended up being the Goblin. Toby and Andrew's introduction. Though Toby, Andrew, and Tom meeting was my third.
Really? Did you like that intro?
Which the intro or the way they all met? Because are you talking about
the way they came in?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, fair enough. Did you film Elias?
I mean, it wasn't anything special to me, but just seeing them, you know, I mean,
right. That's good. What I'm saying. The film, but
I mean, it was the dialogue.
Wait, I interrupted.
The dialogue in the scene that got me. It was good seeing them, but the dialogue got me because Andrew, his acting in that scene was really fucking good. Tom's acting was great. So was Toby.
Oh, you're talking about when they meet on the roof. I'm talking about
that's what I'm talking about.
What? I was saying when they came through the portal.
No, that's what I did too.
Yeah, that portal introduction, it was okay.
I just was like, that's how you're going to introduce them like that.
And then my second moment was the end when Tom was beating up on Goblin. And my top moment, even though I wish it was a little bit longer, but Andrew getting redemption for saving MJ.
Where was all Andrew's swag though? Do you know what I mean? Like he was the most swaggy of the Spider-Man. He'd come in and he's always doing this funny thing with his voice.
Yeah, I did.
You remember how he used to talk?
Yeah, I see.
Where he was always like,
yeah.
I can pull up a scene of him. He always used to talk in this almost staccato way, and he did none of that in this film.
Yeah, you know, like what they did, and I'm not sure if they was trying to do this, but the way they written him, I was like, are they trying to? Because remember when Electro's like said that line oh no, you was never the shit. I was like, are they taking shots? Are they being meta? You know?
Yeah, like
you know what I mean? Remember when Electro said you was never the shit? I was like, is that
I think there was a little bit of that. There was a little bit.
I felt a little bit meta to me, just a little bit like, are they taking shots at Andrew and acknowledging that people don't like him like that or whatever? I don't know. It's a little weird. Like I really like he was too unsure of himself because he was never really that. You know, because he always had that confidence about him. He was very confident. Yeah, he was a little hard-headed, but he had a very confidence about him and stuff.
But he also had a way that he used to speak as well.
Yeah, like when he remember when he talked to Gwen and stuff, very confident. Yeah. He was like he was like a whiz with the girls and stuff, you know. Like they kind of made him too unsure of himself. It was a little too much. He was too unsure. And Toby had to tell him, I did like the fact that Toby told him like, you're amazing, because he is amazing. But I was like, you know, the pep talk. And then he kept saying to himself, nah, I'm not that amazing. No. I mean, at least say you're amazing, bro. Like, come on, Toby saying you're amazing. You're not even saying that. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. But anyway, finish your moments. I'm sure Elitist does some moments as well. I'm guessing.
Oh no, that's I pretty much said them all. My top moment is Andrew saving MJ.
Yeah.
Number one's got to be the three of them swinging into that battle together after they're having that whole like dialogue between them. That was fantastic. I love that. And then you hear Andrew like yelling at Joy as he's swinging. Oh, it was so good.
Like, woo!
And then they all land on the. Oh, that was great. Probably number two would be. Actually, no, I'm changing my number one. My number one moment's the end when he has that fucking perfect red and blue suit. Just that whole ending sequence with the seeing Happy at the graveyard and everything leading up to that, seeing MJ at the coffee shop and deciding not to give her that note and getting this little apartment, all of that was great. And the police scanner, I was really crying in that moment, dude. I was nerd joy just coming through. All three of them
I wish I was there.
Oh yeah, man. I wish so too, dude. The three of them swinging in the battle together after that moment they had where they're like, we can't work as a team. I really loved Andrew's line in that. He's like, I know we suck. That was very Andrew Garfield Spider-Man to me. I also liked multiple scenes with the Green Goblin, but the one K-Dot mentioned where he first started talking to himself again, dude, I literally like audibly was like, yes. Like I needed that, you know, like
Elitist. I kind of wish that scene went a little bit longer and stuff. Like him crawl.
Right.
I wish he kind of crawled up to the mask like he was helpless and stuff. Like, leave me alone. I don't want to be the Goblin again.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. But it was nice seeing him have that dynamic for a second. So you know that, and when he killed Aunt May, he looked fucking terrifying, and he was a lunatic. That was great. Probably the other two would be when they're all together at the end and they you know when he gives them a hug and like kind of acknowledges like I needed you guys and stuff. That was great. And then number 5 would probably be the sequence where he's fighting Doctor Strange in the mirror dimension. I actually really enjoyed that.
Okay. Cool parts. I think they were pretty cool. I'm gonna go number 5, the Doctor Strange trailer. I swear to God, that trailer looked actually pretty damn good. Like, and when the What If version of Doctor Strange came out,
I don't think that
was pretty dope. I think that's the Doctor Strange from What If, bro.
Because the Doctor Strange What If is a good guy now.
Is he?
Yeah, remember at the end when he literally helped the Watcher save the multiverse and stop Killmonger and Ultron from the Infinity Stones.
Okay,
he's a good guy now.
Well,
I'm not saying he'll be evil in the movie, but it seems like he's going to be that other Doctor Strange is a bad guy. That's what it seems like.
Okay. What did you think? You film Elias? You think it was the What If Doctor Strange, or did you not watch What If?
No, I watched it. I think it could be. I think it might just be. My brother and I were talking about this. It might just be like a vision or something. He's probably not the villain of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. No, we know who the villain is. The villain's Mordo, like is the black dude. What's his name? Chinois.
Baron Mordo. I'm thinking maybe. I feel like he won't be the villain because they would show him in the trailer, but you know,
he was in the trailer.
He could be. He was.
I think the villain is probably Wanda.
Yeah, because
Wanda looks sick in that new.
Yeah.
What's it called thing? So I really like that trailer. I fucking think that when he finally becomes Spider-Man, or not finally becomes Spider-Man, because I always thought Tom Holland was a version of Spider-Man. It was just like not my favorite version. But when he decides to like do the sewing thing, and you see him having sewed up his own suit and everything like that, I really like that. I just like that whole sequence of events. And as I said, when you see the actual suit, it looks fucking glorious. It's like a boy becoming a man. Very good bit. I think his acting, Tom's acting, when he was saying to Aunt May, I really like something that they've written into this Tom character. The way he responds to either dying or he responds to being in a vulnerable situation like under the rubble, he always knocks it out of the park with those scenes. And they always give him really good dialogue, really strong, dialogue that makes him seem really vulnerable and human. And so when his Aunt May died and he was saying those things, the way he was saying it, he was in denial. I thought that was wonderful. Really, really well done. So I'm on number 3, right?
Number 13.
2, I do think that William Dafoe, Doc Ock, and Electro were really good in this movie. So a lot of what they did was good. And then my number 1, I don't think this was in any particular order, but my number 1 would be, oh yeah, Andrew saving MJ. But again, I say that, but only because the physical act of it, not because of how it was filmed, shot, the gravitas that moment was given. None of that was particularly good for me. It was just the physical act of him doing it. But and perhaps his facial expression, which they didn't linger on long enough. They could have really made that. They could have really made that his scene saving her, and they could have done it where like he just swings and he grabs her. He should have swung, the thing catches her, but she bounces back, but she doesn't hit her head, right? Or he grabs her up before she hits her head or something like that, right? Like to make it match the scene, like it just didn't. I don't know. There was something about that scene, even though I like it that it happened, and I'm glad that he had the foresight to let Andrew save her, but he didn't execute it as well as it should have been done. Sorry that I'm sorry to. I don't know what you think about what I'm saying, Phil Milius. You might think I'm being really cynical there, but
Hey, everybody's got an opinion, right?
Yeah, it's just
it's all good, man.
I see what you mean, but if it was like, because the thing is, in the main Spider-Man 2, the reason we was able to have that personal moment was because Peter defeated Harry already. He knocked him out, and then he didn't have to deal with him like that, But in that moment, like, they all was in the heat of the moment. Well, no, because they pretty much cured all the villains. Green Goblin came in. Yeah, they could have stayed on a little bit longer because Toby and Andrew really didn't intervene with Tom and Tom's Green Goblin fight. They only interfered when he tried to kill him, but they was okay with letting him, take him down and do that. Okay, so I see. Yeah, they could have dragged out a little bit longer.
Hey, one moment I forgot.
The tension wasn't built up. There was no interaction, but really like good interaction between Andrew and MJ to give him some emotional investment in her, right? So that when he saves her, it's also like not just like, oh, do you know what I mean? So it really matches and mirrors what happened with Gwen, right? Like give him a moment give him like one moment of dialogue with MJ where like it's like, I'm so glad like he's got you, like or some, I don't know what, it's hard for me. I'm not like gonna rewrite it here, but something between Andrew and her would have been really good just to build that scene and then build the tension when she's falling a little bit more.
Okay, well, this is what I think they should have done there, man. If that's the case, what they should have done was have more scenes of Tom and Andrew talking, and Andrew asked them about, how'd you meet MJ, and tell him like, make sure you look out for her. She's a good girl, those type of things.
Right, exactly.
Like, I think they should have more scenes like that then, of them talking about relationships, their relationships, like how you met MJ, and they talk about how you met Gwen. They compare, contrast, all that stuff, and then he says at the end, just look out for her. Do just
don't lose her. Don't never lose her, you know, like something like that. Yeah, exactly.
One scene I forgot was when Doc Ock and Toby had that little moment where he's like, "It's nice to see you, my boy." That was fucking great, dude.
Bro, when Doc Ock said, I got the sun in the palm of my hand, and then Toby finished the rest of the line. I was like,
yeah. And when he told him I'm trying to do better, because that's what he told him when he said brilliant but lazy.
I loved it.
Great. That was a great moment.
But to be fair, you guys, I don't think we're giving Dr. Octopus enough love. Like, we're giving William Dafoe Goblin all this love. We're not giving Dr. Octopus enough love. Like,
it's good.
The thing is, when he became Otto Octavius again, and he really wanted to try and come through for Peter and stuff and became a good guy, and I like how they did that, bruh. A great moment. Because prior to that, he was just, and they really never touched upon it, even I'd say much in Spider-Man 2. They showed it, not really like really diving into it, but the fact that Otto is always hearing voices in his head. That's why he is always going crazy in a sense. Like he's hearing the other arms telling him to do this, do that, do this, don't do this. They're telling him all these different things. And when he finally had that relief, I was like, yes. But let me ask this.
I forgot a moment as well.
Elite Herman, real quick. Let me ask this before I get you a moment, Herman. So, since the villains are not going to be, so Norman Osborn is not going to be Doc Ock, Norman Osborn is not going to be Green Goblin. Doc Ock isn't going to be Doc Ock when they go back to their things. So, is that going to change the events of the Raimi and Garfield films?
Yeah, that I'm curious about that too. Like, are they going back to the same place in time, or are they going to get spared? Like,
yeah, because are they from a separate timeline of that same, like a parallel timeline?
It's in a parallel timeline.
Because that's the thing. Are they from a parallel of? It's that's the weird thing about it. Like, because if you change their fates, that means it really twist the events of Raimi and Andrew films.
Yeah, and it's confusing.
You should think about that too deeply, dude.
Yeah, probably not, because it's confusing.
I'm not saying it ruins those movies and stuff.
Right,
I'm not saying
that. Just asking a question. Like, it's interesting.
Yeah, no, I know.
Technically changes those events.
But also to Nerdman's point, like, why are Toby and Andrew older, but those guys are all taken from right before they died?
Well, because the Toby we got is after Spider-Man 3. And Andrew we got is months after Spider-Man 2. Because they really didn't specify, but you can kind of tell because the way Toby was describing it, him and MJ had been together for a while. So that was odd. They was after their respective movies and stuff.
By the way,
from certain points, but they was from after both of their movies.
By the way, Doctor Strange is in the Tobey Maguire universe. You realize that? There is a Doctor Strange in the Tobey Maguire universe. J. Jonah Jameson said it. Because he was like, what should we call, what was it? Who was he trying to...
I would say that's more of like a, maybe Doctor Strange is like a comic character in that universe or something.
Sure, but like J. Jonah Jameson says at some point, like, we should name this person Dr.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think y'all was just like one of the little callbacks that don't really mean much. Like the Superman line in Eternals.
No, I don't think so. I think that meant Doctor Strange inhabited that universe, or even if he was a comic book character, isn't that kind of strange? Shouldn't the Toby have said like, "Hey, you know, you're a comic book character in my universe"? Anyway, but it's a little thing I just remembered just now. But I was gonna say, I really like the Miles Morales fucking like. I thought like Spider-Man was black because of like he was helping all like the people and whatever. I always figured he must be black, even though it didn't make sense and it kind of undermined the whole premise of the thing that these are all villains that knew who Peter Parker was. It did give me a chuckle.
Yeah, because this is my thing with Andrew in the movie, right? I felt like him being so unsure of himself, Electra talking about you was never shit. I don't know, man. And then him saying, oh, I thought you was I wish you was black or whatever. I was like,
but it was a Miles
I feel
Morales.
like people was taking. I feel like they was taking kind of. I understand it was a Miles Morales reference or whatever. And I understand they was trying to do the whole moment of anyone can be Spider-Man, anyone, any color of whatever creed or whatever can be Spider-Man as long as they they follow the right values. But I'm like, I feel like they was just like dismissing a lot of the good stuff Andrew was doing.
Apparently,
like it was weird for Electro to talk about, like, oh, you was never shit. Like, what? He wasn't like Electro wasn't shit. What is he talking about?
Electro wasn't shit.
That nobody
You
cared
weren't
about.
shit. You better be happy you're in this movie to save your fucking career, bro. Anyway, like Pickles is apparently conflicted about the movie, and I feel the same. I might need to watch it again. I was not looking at this movie hypercritically, and I enjoyed like the first, like when it opened up, I was enjoying it. It just got to a point where I was just like, yeah, this is all right. I just didn't. I don't know. I don't know. I have to watch it again. I really do.
I think if you take away the expectations of Andrew and Toby being in this and having to make that, like, what is that going to be like? How is it going to come off? What are they going to say? How are they going to be? What's it going to entail? Because we didn't get to see any of it until the movie or the leaks that came out a couple days ago. We had so many months. It's been almost a year of dwelling on this. And I'm not saying that's what you did, Nerdman, but I'm just saying I know for me, that's the part I was most conflicted about. Was like, did they really nail that part of it? But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, what you said is true. They did just enough when it comes to those two. But the movie overall, I thought they did a bang up fucking job of getting Tom Holland to feel like Spider-Man more than he ever has, and to really give him. I mean, just in this one movie, they gave him more than they've given him in this entire trilogy, and maybe it was a lot in one movie, but man, did it get him to a place that's interesting. Finally, we get to explore something interesting with him when it comes to like emotions and stuff.
This was Rise of Skywalker, but better. Rise of Skywalker was trying to clean up shit, and it just ended up fucking it up. This was Rise of Skywalker, but 10 times better.
Yeah, or like the Amazing Spider-Man 2, if it had worked.
Right.
Because it has a lot going on in this movie, but it nails enough of it, and it uses the stuff, even if it's, as Nerdman's saying, it's not exactly, it's the bare minimum. It gets the driving force of the movie and the character building where it needs to go in a way that's satisfying.
That's the line.
Here's how I'd put it. Of all the really ambitious movies, this is the least ambitious. It has this premise that seems so ambitious, but it pulls it off in the most kind of pedestrian way. That's my feeling of it. Like, you're gonna bring 3 Spider-Men together, all 3 franchises, and you're gonna have the 3 Spider-Man share the scenes with each other and bring back their villains and blah blah. It just doesn't pull it off with much style and panache. But
again, good. That's kind of what I was saying, right?
But it's good.
Like, take that element out of it, that expectation of those two, and that part of it. The film overall works.
Yeah.
Like, from beginning to end, Tom Holland starts in one place and he ends up in an entirely different place.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean,
it really is a character piece that's like buried underneath all this bloat of like fan service and characters that we want to see and all this stuff going on, but it works as a character piece, and that's what I was so appreciative of.
But
I think honestly, because I gave Endgame a B-. This movie might get that same exact grade because like they're about even with the same issues and stuff, messy plot points, great fucking nostalgia, some good emotional moments, very good
Lots
emotional
of fan
moments,
service.
lots of fan
More
service,
fan service
great
than
emotional moments. It's about even. I give honestly, this movie like a B
what
minus.
great emotional moments, dude. It doesn't even
The
have a
moment
bit.
when Toby, Andrew, and Peter met, that was really good, man. That was really freaking good. Their acting
I
in that
think
scene was solid.
it was solid, not great.
It didn't touch you when Andrew was talking about Gwen dying in the darkness he went through, or Peter said, "My uncle died, and I hunted down the man that killed him, and he died, but it didn't make me feel
And it
any
still
better."
wasn't enough. And he said,
No, it didn't. It didn't make sense. I felt like he should talk about his Uncle Ben as
What?
well. Why didn't he talk about
Well,
Uncle
if you
Ben?
notice that this is something else you can bitch about and take it for what it is, but my brother pointed this out to me. There wasn't an Uncle Ben gravestone next to Aunt May, so we just have to assume that he probably didn't exist in this universe.
yeah.
Right. Well, that's fine. I don't really care.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing. I was with that last scene. I'm glad Leaders brought it up. I was thinking like, okay, are we gonna see Ben's gravestone? And I was like, huh, still no gravestones. Like, what's up?
So
Probably
maybe
because
it's just he doesn't have an Uncle Ben. He just has an Aunt May, and that's fine. His Aunt May is his Uncle Ben. I don't mind that.
it's just
Doesn't
only
bother
if
me.
for me, Aunt May wasn't treated like some fucking piece of ass. This whole fucking franchise.
Yeah, they
Then
should have.
you know. But other
Yeah,
than that, I mean,
Yeah,
other
we
than
should have
that,
seen her working at Feast and doing all those things earlier on in the film.
maybe he had an Aunt Benetta. Like there was a lesbian like thing.
Oh God.
That would be
Aunt
cool.
Bernetta.
That would be cool. That would be very modern, wouldn't it?
The only part of it
Hey,
Very
that's
like
weird though
real,
is
real,
he had that suitcase that said
2021.
it said Ben Parker's initials on it. So what was that?
It was Benetta
Parker?
Parker. Yeah. But hey, look, dude. You know, I kind of co-sign a lot of what you guys are saying. I don't know the
Oh, wait, let me
emotional.
say, everyone, Nerdman does not
Yes.
think this movie's terrible. ETSC, it said that. I want to make that clear because I heard him say it.
I don't at all. Not
I
not
really
at all.
do actually understand what you're saying there, man, because a lot of what you're saying I was feeling in the movie and shortly after seeing it. I was like, it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. Was it great? I don't know. I'm a little confused. I'm a little conflicted. But the more I think about it, I'm like, it did what I wanted it to do. So how can I really be? I mean, what it needed to do for the character, and not only that, but in the movie, it tells a story of this guy that's a kid that's making dumb decisions and has been kind of privileged when it comes to like Tony Stark tech, and there's always somebody looking out for him. And by the end, he has nobody, and he's had to make these really tough choices. And he just decides that I'm going to be Spider-Man. Fuck the Avengers shit. Fuck the Iron Spider. I'm sewing my own suit. I got my police scanner. I'm getting a GED. I'm living a life that's harder than any of these other superheroes because I'm different than them. And that's what Spider-Man is about. That's what we love about Spider-Man 2 and the Raimi movies and the comics is like Spider-Man interacts with the Avengers and he interacts with the characters and stuff, but he goes through things that other heroes don't go through. He's the most human. And
Yo, are these just going to be Sony movies, by the way?
well, I think
This
they
new
set that
trilogy.
up. They set it up where it could be that because he's so like it's almost like all the stuff that happened with Thanos and everything that he's gone through was his origin story, right? And now
Yeah.
everything's forgotten by everyone else, but he knows what he went through to make him into the man he is. So you could go that route, but I think they made an agreement that they're going to do more movies. So.
Oh, you think they're going to do more MCU movies? Because I was going to say like that's kind of
I mean,
sneaky of Sony.
the only
Sony
way,
basically just used the MCU to get him there, like to this place, and then just fucking reap the reward.
I mean, but
That
the
would be
only
kinda
way,
sneaky.
because this is the thing, they bring in Venom just to bring in the Black Goo, and they bring him back. Like, the only way for him to go to the Sonyverse is if he gets transported there. Sony cannot just take this character and do movies because then it wouldn't make sense because he's part of the MCU. But the Sony verse is not in the MCU. It's connected to the multiverse, but it's not. So Sony cannot just do these Spider-Man movies as they are unless they bring them over. Like, actually bring them through a portal into the Sonyverse. That's the only way.
Yeah,
and they
I
can't really
don't
do
get
that because then it's like,
what is going to happen with the Venom thing as well. That was really weird because so it's not going to be
I
Tom
think that's set up
Hardy.
for Secret Wars.
yeah, probably Secret Wars because honestly, it
Even
was
though
kind
he
of
usually gets the suit. He usually gets the suit on the planet, but I think they're going to go a different route. So he's going to get that
Sure.
in the
he's not.
MCU and then use it in Secret Wars.
So you
that's
think he's
that's why
going
that
to
was there.
become the Venom Spider-Man? Like, and then there'll be another Venom, not Tom Hardy, or Tom Hardy somehow
No. I
gonna
think Tom
come.
Hardy will still be Venom. I think they're leading up to some kind of Sinister Six type thing with the Vulture and Morbius and Venom and these other characters, and then they're going to have Tom Holland cross over eventually
Wait a
into the
second.
Sonyverse.
Wasn't Michael Keaton supposed to be in Venom?
No, he's in Morbius.
Oh, he's in Morbius. Oh,
And
okay.
also in that movie, in the trailer, you see that Sam Raimi's Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is on a poster on a wall, so he exists.
Wow. Okay.
Now, who knows, man? You can't think about it too much, right?
No, not worth it.
We're at that
But
point with it.
yeah,
But I don't know. I mean, who knows, man? There's Morbius doesn't look that bad, and I'm not a huge fan of the Venom movies, but there are a lot of people, and I think with Kevin Feige, being involved, as like a co-production, they could make that character go to where he needs to go to make it satisfying.
has Tom Holland vindicated himself in your opinion? Now, has he fully
Yeah,
vindicated himself?
yeah. By the end of that movie, here's the way I look at it. Right, I look at it as like we got 5 movies, really 4, because he wasn't really in Endgame that much. But let's just say 5 movies. These 3 and those 2 team up movies. Well, 6, I guess, because Civil War 2, which is ridiculous to say, but 6 movies, 3 solo, and all the stuff with Thanos and Tony and all the villains he fought and everything he's gone through, going to space and being snapped, and it's a lot. I don't think all of it was necessary, but basically now it's been snapped away in everybody's mind but his, and it's all his origin story. Instead of Uncle Ben, instead of just one moment, he's had this like traumatic teenage journey that eventually turned him into the version of Spider-Man that we're I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but that I'm kind of wanting to see, which is the Spider-Man that has to make tough choices and stuff. So yeah, he is vindicated. It just took a long time to get there. It took a long fucking time, and frankly,
I
not a
still
big
think
fan of
he's the
Far From
worst
Home.
actor of all 3, and I also think
Oh, I don't
he's
think that.
the least charismatic, and I think he's good at some emotional scenes, like doing those scenes, but not in a like, oh wow, like this guy's a brilliant actor kind of thing. I just think he's a very average actor. Not exciting at all. I wouldn't want to see him in any other role, for instance. Like, I don't see him being great in other movies, like, or getting an. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can see Andrew Garfield one day getting an Oscar.
Well, yeah.
Tobey Maguire can do good movies. He can do a Leonardo DiCaprio movie, and it works. Like, he's good in it. Like, what was that movie he did with him? The Great Gatsby, for instance. So he's a good enough actor where he can do that kind of shit. This this Tom Holland guy, I just don't see. He's all right.
I don't know if I would.
He's all right. And these 2, Andrew and Toby, who weren't as good in this movie as they were in their own franchises. And that's the only way I could see that he was elevated to a point where I was like, oh, he's pretty decent, because they didn't give them anything to do.
Well, I think he's decent too because he gets to play off of things we never got to see him play off of before.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciated about the movie was like, oh, his secret identity matters for the first time. I wish this would have been a bigger deal earlier, but whatever, we got there eventually. The secret identity, the fact that when that secret identity is revealed, people suffer, people die. He has to make tough choices when it comes to his love life, his personal life, his apartments. You know, he's got to be alone. He's got to face all the weight of these problems. You know, a la Spider-Man 2 style, right? And that's what's interesting about it. I don't think it's necessarily that they had to just diminish Toby and
Would
Andrew.
you go out to see a movie because Tom Holland's in it? That isn't Spider-Man.
No, but there's very few actors I go to see their movie just because they're in it.
You wouldn't go out to see an Andrew Garfield movie.
I would, but not just because he's in it.
You wouldn't be excited that Andrew Garfield's in the cast of a movie.
Well, yeah, because he's a great actor. He's the best of the actor of the three of them.
Right.
But I don't know that Tom Holland is like multiple tiers down from Toby or anything. I think he's probably a better actor than Toby in a lot of ways.
No, I don't think so.
Even though Toby's my favorite Spider-Man, like,
I mean, think about it. Toby, like in The Great Gatsby, Toby's done like quite a few like movies. In that movie, Pleasantville, you know, you can't put fucking Tom Holland in those kind of movies. He wouldn't work. He's good for like these. You know, what's this movie he's in?
Uncharted.
Yeah, he's in some new movie. It's like called Pleasure Island or whatever the fuck. I think it's called. I don't know what. It's something. It's something. He was. They did the trailer even before the Spider-Man movie. I don't know. He's good for those kind of movies, like big, dumb action movies or something. He's not really a seasoned great actor, in my opinion. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he's been acting since he was like a kid. Last movie I seen him as a kid was that tsunami earthquake movie or whatever. If you guys remember it, he was
it's called like the something. I can't remember.
But he's a kid actor. But like even then, it wasn't really until Spider-Man when Tom Holland got on my radar. Like when he popped in Civil War, that's when like, okay, Tom Holland was on my radar. But I seen him prior to that, but I never really cared for him until Spider-Man.
Right. I mean, you know, he was young then, and you know, playing Spider-Man's probably taken up a lot of his time. So
yeah.
Can we fairly judge how great of a character actor he is? He's mainly been Spider-Man. That was kind of Toby's problem. He did a couple of good movies, and then he was Spider-Man, and it was like, well, you know, now it's like you do The Great Gatsby and you do like one other movie, and then people just kind of forget.
Yeah, because
he was really good in a Woody Allen movie.
They only look at them as Spider-Man. Like, to be fair, Andrew Garfield, like, same, you know, he's a good actor, very good actor. He's best of the three, but kind of the same problem and stuff. Like, yeah, Andrew Garfield got this new movie coming out, but who's really talking about that? More people are talking about Andrew Garfield.
Every Andrew Garfield movie I see him in, he's fantastic. He's fantastic in there's this movie where he plays a boy he was basically a kid. When he was a kid, he killed a little boy, and then he goes to jail for a while, and then it's showing him when he was an adult. I think it's called Boy A or something like that. He's obviously great in The Social Network. He's great in everything. Like there's even this new movie that I saw him in, was really weird, almost Lynch-esque kind of movie that I saw him in, and I think it's under something Milkwood. I don't know. In any case, he's great in everything. I don't think he's a fantastic character actor.
To answer,
I don't think he has any problems.
Tony's question, the last thing Tobey Maguire was in before this was as the narrator in the film The Boss Baby. So I think, needless to say, you know, he wasn't quite where he was when he was Spider-Man.
And look, Toby's this is the thing too. Some actors, they become well off after certain things. Like, who knows? He's probably still making money off those Spider-Man movies and stuff from back in the day. His Blu-rays, all that. So some actors, this is the thing, all actors ain't gonna be on top. Like Andrew, he's probably not doing that much. They're all not doing that much. Tom is the recent Spider-Man, so he's gonna be in the know. He's gonna be in the now. Like Toby, he's more the people's like, kind of well off. I do stuff here and there. Like who knows what else he's doing? He's probably got charity.
Tobey Maguire has only ever been in 12 films.
Yeah, like
really?
Isn't that wild?
There are some good ones though. Pleasantville's really good. There were 12 movies though, dude.
Yeah, and 3 of them were Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire movies. Let's look. So he was very good in The Great Gatsby. He's very good in The Wonder Boys. He's not a fantastic actor. I'm not going to say that, but like he's better than Tom Holland in my opinion.
He's not fantastic, but he ain't bad. That's the thing. He's definitely not a bad actor at all. Like Rogue Comics would say, Mike.
Yeah, and a lot of it was Toby's own doing because he made a lot of money playing poker underground and he produced movies and he hates the fame, He's always hated the fame of like the paparazzi and things like that. So it was probably a conscious decision.
Yeah, like if you notice, even during the press and stuff, notice how they was asking Andrew Garfield more stuff, and he was in like most of the recent news and stuff. You didn't see Toby doing no interviews, like nobody asking him on like Howard Stern or whatever. Like, are you in No Way Home?
Right.
Like,
I think they had to sign a contract with him saying, "I'm getting a fat sack of cash, and I don't have to do shit to promote this."
Right.
Yeah.
Like
basically,
those were the
Toby's cool with his Spider-Man money. That's what I think it is. I don't think it's like he's got some problem getting acting roles. He's just cool with that Spider-Man cash. He got a lot for the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, and he's produced and so he's made a lot of money. He got paid $25 million for the last 2 Spider-Man movies a piece.
He's well off. He is well off.
Yeah, he's fine. And
he made 3 movies that made a lot of money. Probably still making money off Blu-ray and all that other stuff. He's good.
Yeah, he's fine. He probably got paid a shitload of money for this, too. Because he had the leverage in this situation with Disney, right? Like, if they came to him with the script of, like, this vision of the 4 or 5 villains, everyone's coming back, and we really need you. Like, he had the leverage in negotiations. So he probably got paid a fat lump for this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, when it comes to acting, I think Toby's good. I think some people shit on him a little too hard. But I think Tom Holland is at least as good as Toby.
People like
You're crazy. You're crazy. Where's Tom Holland proven that?
I mean, he was good in that movie, The Devil All the Time, that came out on Netflix. It wasn't a good movie from what I saw. I didn't finish it. There's like 20 minutes I need to see of it, but I fell asleep. But it wasn't Tom Holland's fault. Tom Holland was good in that movie. He's doing like a country accent. He's got the whole thing going on, man. It's pretty good.
Oh, he can do accents. He just doesn't have.
Yeah, he can do other characters, but I see what you're saying because in Uncharted, he's basically playing a slightly altered version of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Right? But he can do other things, And I mean, even that movie Cherry that he did, which was like, it didn't get good reviews and things like that, but he's playing like a PTSD, a heroin addict. He went there. His acting was fine.
He tried.
Hey, you want to know one real quick thing I liked about this review that we did? Notice how none of us didn't mention anything comic book related or try to use comic books to boost up or prop up or defend stuff in the movie that didn't get explained and stuff. I love this. Shouts out to Elitist and Nerdman.
Yeah.
No, I'll say this, man. When Zack Snyder Justice came out and a bunch of comic book movies come out, a lot of people, I've seen on Twitter, a lot of people use comic books to fill in these fucking places and stuff. It's even happening within shit like Hawkeye, people using comic books to
the Matt Fraction run
to defend shit that is not shown on the screen or into whatever, and they use comic books to fill in shit. It's fine and all, but I'm glad we just went off the movie and just looked at this movie as the movie and used what was in this movie to, dissect it, give our positives, our dislikes, whatever. I love it.
And one shout out to Disney. I've not always been the biggest fan of them ethically or whatever, but when it comes to the MCU, and Nerdman, I agree, they have flaws, and as more and more of the years go on, it gets bigger and more complicated. They have more things to juggle. They don't always deliver, right? But This movie and Endgame, two very monumental tasks. One movie had to juggle 10 years and 30 movies of history and interweave all this stuff. And then this movie had to interweave 25 years of 3 iterations of Spider-Man franchises and still balance it as a character movie for Tom Holland, this maturation thing. And I think overall they succeeded, man. And you got to give credit to that. Like, I'm not trying to shit on DC or make this a Marvel versus DC thing. I'm just saying any company, what other company has done something like that, swung at that ball and hit a home run like that? You got to give them props.
I think the only ones.
Wait.
I think the only ones was the Godzilla franchise up until the new movies, but
no, it didn't.
Right, like the old ones when they had the shared universe.
So, are you just saying that so because they put 32 movies together and then created a mediocre movie?
Hold on, that's not what I said, motherfucker. Come on now.
No, I don't. I don't get
my words.
like
a mustache, dude.
I don't get what like.
I'm saying that they had. I'm saying the achievement
on
it's not just that they had to do that, and because they put it on screen, oh my god, we should clap like seals. I'm saying more than they failed, they succeeded, which means they succeeded overall. It's a passing grade. Even if it is just passable to you, you have to admit that's an achievement. If managing all of that stuff and then making it something that makes $2 billion and overall the critical consensus is people enjoyed it and it did what it was supposed to do, you have to give credit.
I'm genuinely baffled by what you're asking me to give credit to. I'm not even trying to be facetious here. I'm like,
will not budge for
right,
you.
Let's unpack it. Let's unpack it.
No.
I'm serious. It's okay.
So this Spider-Man movie, I should give props. And I'm just trying to understand what you're saying here, because it was a monumental task to bring the 3 generations together while also carrying on Tom Holland's Spider-Man story. Yeah?
Yes.
That's it. And the fact that they got like a grade arguably from C to above is what you're saying that I should applaud.
I'm saying even if you look at it as the bare minimum, when you factor in the degree of difficulty, right? You have to.
I don't think it's that difficult. I think The Dark Knight is more difficult than this.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I see in different kinds of challenges, but I mean, you have to manage the expectations of people that like 3 different. How many arguments have we had on this?
I think creating a brilliant movie is harder than creating a mediocre one.
Okay, fine.
I think Schindler's List is a more difficult movie to make, and it takes painting the Sistine Chapel takes more degree of skill than what this movie.
So of course, I'm not making that argument.
Where my confusion. That's
not the argument I'm making. I'm not comparing this to fucking Picasso in degree of difficulty. What I'm saying is, or Mona Lisa or whatever. I'm not saying this is Van Gogh. What I'm saying is, how many arguments have we had about the 2? I'm going to break this down into 2 different parts. Unpack it for you because you like to unpack things, right?
Yeah. All right.
Okay. 1, we have 3 different Spider-Men, right? Each with their own set of fandoms that are belligerent about them, loyal to the core. How many arguments have we had about Tom Holland versus Toby? And no, I like Andrew. And it comes up all the time because people are so passionate. They have to manage all of those fans' expectations on.
And they underserved those fans in this movie.
I think that most people don't agree with that.
I think most people are on their hype train and aren't thinking about it.
Okay, like, we'll see. As time goes on, but for now, it seems like people are satisfied, right? That's one.
Pure hype-nitis. They would have been happy whatever happened, like as long as Toby and Andrew were on screen. If they genuinely think that this was a great depiction, or even this is a mediocre depiction of two of these franchises, they were underserved majorly. Like the Andrew and Toby in this movie. It's like, hey, we're friends. We're the Spider Friends. That was it. That was their relationship.
I understand the argument you're making. I'm just saying that you have to give for now that the audience seems to be reacting with the box office numbers and the way they're reacting on the internet and stuff, the buzz.
Sure, it's the
People,
hype night. It's the MCU hype
okay,
night.
well, you can call it hype, but I'm saying the people that they needed to manage those expectations of 3 different franchises in 25 years of history, they succeeded, right? Not in your opinion, but I'm saying to the masses, which is a difficult task.
No, it isn't.
I think you're underselling that, dude.
No. The masses, the premise alone satisfied the masses. The premise of this alone, having the 3 Spider-Man come together, putting fight scenes together with the 3 Spider-Men in it, having them talk about, oh, your web doesn't come out of a machine. Your web comes out of your hand. They already satisfied the masses with just that. That's it.
Mhm.
That's all you need to do. That's a really easy task, bro. In my opinion, I don't see much impressive about that at all. Like really,
I think if that were
impressing
true,
these masses these days. Get good CGI. Make sure your CGI is really good. Put some jokes in that kind of reference these past movies a little bit. Put those 2 on screen with the new one. You're done.
if that were the
Job
case,
done.
if that were the case, then the last 2 Star Wars movies specifically, take out Force Awakens, although that was divisive as well, would not have been received the way they were, right? Because they hit all those marks of let's put this character in here and have him say something that references the old movie and do all this shit. And it was enough to get asses in seats, but people did
They
not
made
react the
$1
way that
billion.
they were reacting to this. What?
They made over $1 billion, dude.
Right, they got asses in seats, but the reactions were not like this is what I'm saying.
What are the
People
reactions like?
people were mixed badly.
I didn't see people dancing on the streets after this fucking movie. What are you talking? What
Dude,
reactions of? You're saying that people didn't hate the movie? Is that it?
I'm not
That
saying
people
no.
love this movie or something? I don't know. What are you
I'm
saying?
saying people are freaking the fuck out, dude.
In a month, they will have forgotten it. Give a month, film elitist. I give you a month, and no one will be talking about this movie.
All right, well, we'll have to see on that, but
I'm not even like trying to be like fucking horrible to you. Know for a fact this is not like a really like it's not a fucking memorable. It, dude, I don't want to be bad about it, but you're trying to make out like Endgame is more of an achievement in my mind than this. Like even Endgame is more of an achievement, and even that did not. It was fan service. It was poorly directed, poorly executed time travel storyline. It was fucking garbage, dude. And the fact that you're trying, it is. The story is fucking garbage. There's one scene at the end that saves it because there's a big action scene, toys like a little toy commercial at the end of the movie, and everyone gets on their hype night train because of that. Fair enough. That satisfies people. I'm happy for them. But the fact is, the movie is not that fucking good objectively. When you look at what makes a good fucking movie, right? In terms of like plot, story, is it consistent with itself? It's a mess, and
well,
it
no, man.
doesn't
I
make
think
any fucking
and
sense.
I'm not trying to take a jab, but I think we know that film is not objective like that because you think Zack Snyder's Justice League is a masterpiece.
No, I don't. No,
You
I
think it's
don't.
a
That's the
near
first thing.
masterpiece.
I don't even think it's a near masterpiece. I think it's really, really good as
How
a
many times have
comic
I
book
heard you
movie.
say it was?
Even when I talked to Pickle, he called his thing the masterpiece or masterpiece.
Okay,
And
but
the
there are
first thing I said was, I don't think it's a fucking
okay.
masterpiece.
Okay,
That I
fair enough.
was, that after I watched it, that yeah, I was like on my hype nightus, which a lot of people are on now because I love those characters. And then I took time to calm down and started looking at the movie objectively and dissecting it a little bit more. And I saw it had some Zack Snyder problems.
Yeah, that's fair,
But
dude.
it's
All right.
better than this movie.
But you can agree there have been movies that you are wildly divided with the masses on that you think are incredible that other people think are total shit, right?
Like
So
what?
it's not objective.
Give me an example.
I mean, I don't know, fucking Shazam?
People aren't wildly divided on that. That's just MCU fans want to hate on it.
Oh,
Most people like that movie. Go and look at its score on fucking Rotten Tomatoes. Go and look at its score on IMDb.
I thought we didn't use critics. We didn't take them seriously.
IMDb. Look at the fucking audience score on those movies. MCU fans will come out and try and hate on that movie. That's it.
Mm-hmm. All right. You know that film is subjective.
I think film, what you like is subjective, but if a film, if at one point a film is like, me and you have a relationship in this film, right? And it says like for instance, our relationship is we're students and we're both I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example that like somehow we figure out a fucking way to time travel or some shit like that,
Sure.
right? And it says like so we figured out this way to time travel. We go back in time to I don't know, like save our mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a situation in the movie where like what I say, my motivation for doing that completely conflicts with something I did earlier, right? And it derails my whole motivation or our whole motivation for going back in time. That's an objective fact of the story. We can detail that specific contradiction in motivation happened in the story. Now you can just ignore that and like the movie anyway, or you can say no, that's a really big fucking hole, and that's a reason that I don't like that movie. Now, I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm just because I didn't want to bring it to the MCU or give like a particular example, so it seems like I'm being biased. But that's what I'm saying.
I understand
you
what
can
you're saying.
objectively look at movies like that or stories like that.
Sure.
Now you can choose to ignore it because other elements you like more. But if those elements are in those movies, you can objectively say that is bad fucking storytelling.
And this film is guilty of falling short at times of things that are objectively what you look for when you're looking and telling a cohesive story, right?
Right.
Okay, but I also think that it's balanced out and outweighed. The good outweighs the bad in the same objective manners is what I'm trying to say. Right? Like maybe it's not as earned as like the Sam Raimi movement. Like there's human moments in this movie, right? Are they as earned as the Sam Raimi movies? No, because like K-Dot was saying, it's kind of playing cleanup to some of the stuff that they overlooked and had oversight on in the first two movies because they were focusing on Tom Holland kind of being just a fun kid. But it gets there, and it does it in a way that works, in my opinion.
Spider-Man 2 is way better. Oh, shit. Look, I was talking about these DC movies. We were just saying it today. That train sequence, for instance, look at how that train sequence is constructed. That train sequence, you might as well say the train sequence in Spider-Man 2 happens from the start of the movie. It's not even just like everything is building up to everything that happens on that
emotional,
all the
beats.
Does not happen in this movie. What happens is fan service. All of a sudden, Andrew saves what's her name? Yeah, we could say that was built from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but it wasn't built from this movie. It was just fan service because we know, obviously Andrew's girl dies. Yeah, he mentions it in the movie. I'll admit that. So you could say that they built the ground a little bit, but they didn't. That was the climax. The whole thing to what his story arc should have been in the movie. Each one of them should have had a story arc.
Don't you think the defining?
Here we go.
Here
I fucking got it. This is it. This is my whole point. Andrew and Toby don't have an arc in this fucking film. They don't have a story arc. Yeah. They just are there as fan service. They don't go from this was their dilemma. This was their problem when they come into the movie. And this was the situation that was
it's not their movie.
Led them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude. They're too important. to bring them back like this. They're too important. Where each of them should have had a reason, like something that that is unresolved from their own movies or whatever. That they come into this movie and everything should have been building towards that moment, that crescendo moment where they do something that makes you feel, oh fucking wow, like now they're finally resolving the issue that they came into.
But you're saying it's just because of how important they are, because of their history and stuff, not because there can't be static characters. Because we all know in every movie, not every character starts in point A and ends in point B.
Sure. Yeah, I'm saying because of the significance of bringing them back.
Okay, but again, we've both agreed that maybe that is a bit of a failure in this film. But the part about Tom Holland starting in point A and ending up somewhere else succeeds, and it's his movie, right?
It's good. That bit's good.
So it does have something to do with our expectations.
Not great. It's good, but it's good.
Okay, but so okay, that's fine. But that means that it succeeded in that manner, and it is his movie. So maybe part of it is our own expectations.
I love the way we get into this film, Elias. We completely forget anybody else exists.
Okay, that's in the shower, dude.
Oh, is he in the shower? All right, fair enough.
So this is our moment to shine, Stepping up to the plate here.
He hasn't talked for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, he DM'd me. He told me to feel free to go wherever you want to go. So
yeah, okay, all right. But yeah, no,
you're the captain now.
No. I think it's been good that we're hashing this out, because I get what you're saying. Like, it's an achievement in some sense, and I think the whole MCU is an achievement. That's what I would say. But the specific films, I don't think that I don't believe they deliver the level of filmmaking and subtlety and nuance and anything that most that a lot of just director-led movies do, like really specifically director-led movies.
Well, yeah. Do I think the Batman,
especially from
the new Batman film, do I think that's going to be something entirely different in the way that you're speaking on? Yeah, because he's not going to have Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck in a multiversal story and all these other elements flying around, and he's got a cameo from some other character, Daredevil in this instance, showing up. It's a lot of things going on, right? It's almost impossible to tell that kind of story in that context. But that's my whole point: is, does it come off a little flat to you? Sure, but does that mean it doesn't work for what it's supposed to be? No, and that's okay too. There can be two different types of films, right? Like, that's what I'm learning to appreciate, is that maybe there can be two different types of movies, and that's okay, right? Because I mean, The Predator, I'm pretty sure Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't start in point A and end in point Z. He's kind of the same person. He's just happy to be done.
But other things make up for it.
Right, but I think this movie does the same type of thing, right? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that.
Kind of, but like, I just think everything in that movie, the way the tension's built up, the music is memorable. The action set pieces in that movie are, for the time, were imaginative and creative. They didn't just rely on CG special effects to like carry them through. There was actually some personality to them. This guy, John Watts, I don't know what else he's directed, right?
Just one indie movie called Cop Car.
Okay. I don't know. He seems like a decent director. He doesn't seem like a great director to me. I might be proven wrong. There was no flair or style to. I don't know. I feel like I'm just complaining about something where it doesn't necessarily need complaining about. Like, I was just thinking about like the actual action set pieces in this, which were some of the best parts of this movie. I don't think they were bad at all. I think they were big, spectacular, like kind of action scenes. And certainly not like the Eternals or something like that. They're not generic or something. But for what they were, I don't think they, like, did they really take how Toby fought or how Andrew thought and try and incorporate that somehow, or I don't know.
I
I
understand.
need to watch it again. Really, I do.
I
Because
understand what you're saying, but it's like you have to accept. I mean, I what Raimi did, right, is kind of what you're talking about with especially with the second Spider-Man movie, but I think the first one to a lesser extent is like had this world that's kind of fantastical and you believe that Spider-Man could exist in it and there is a superhero flying around, but there's all these human characters that have these story arcs and it's very human and the, even the action stuff and the villains, everything plays into everything else. It's all this kind of like symbiotic beautiful mess, right? That's all connected. And it's a great film, and it's not just a great superhero movie, but with these big movies like this, when you're doing stuff that's carrying 3 franchises and 25 years of history, it's fucking impossible to tell a story on that small scale that still feels somewhat epic but like personal. But I think that even though it was damn near impossible, they did a pretty good job of making it feel personal.
Phil Pickles asking me, what was Wonder Woman's story arc in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and what was Aquaman?
What's up, K-Dot?
Aquaman actually did have a little bit of a story arc. He didn't have a crazy story arc, but
Zack Snyder gave Aquaman nothing to do, bro. He gave him a motivation.
He gave him a motivation, and he actually was started off very jaded, and he didn't want to like be part of the group or whatever. And then eventually, through Mera and what's his name, Volko, actually in like telling him, your mother did this, and you should actually go and join this team. He eventually does. By the end of it, you see him. But I don't think it's much of an arc.
But he was a useless character.
But I don't think that that's the same thing as this, because you're bringing back Andrew and Toby. That's completely fucking different situations. I don't think that.
But really like, what? Here's the point I'm trying to make, Nerd Man. Right? Like, what can we even compare this movie to? Now, does that mean that you don't have a point? I'm not saying that, right? You have valid critiques of this film. That's fine.
I mean,
do I think?
Filmly is perfect thing to compare this to. It's a TV series. It's a span of TV series, but the CW. This is the first time in a live action movie that we've seen the multiverse done like this in a comic book movie.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. So this is the first to do it.
So how can we compare this to Spider-Man 2 or Schindler's List, or it's like. I'm not saying that doesn't mean you can't critique it, right? I'm not playing that game. I'm just saying that you do have to also balance that that's something that we've never even seen before. So,
and that's amazing that we haven't seen it before. But like, you can say, "Oh wow, we've never seen this before," but it's kind of like underwhelming, like what you get out of what you've. It's like, maybe I'd never eaten oysters before, but hey, like the first oyster I ate, maybe it just wasn't, prepared very well. When I first ate it, like I ate it like this year, it just was like, it's all right. It's not great. It's just, I think it's fair to say that, yes, it's an achievement and well done for you even thinking of doing this in a way. But at the same time, I get why people love this movie at the moment. But I think with a little bit of distance, you're going to look at this and think, if this would take this same story, make it Flyman, make it like a character that isn't Spider-Man, right? Put Flyman, and Flyman meets the other Flymen from the rest of the different universes, and they come into this film and they do the exact same fucking thing. You'd be like, yeah, this is an okay movie. But you do the same thing with something like Joker or Spider-Man 2. You make Spider-Man 2 Flyman, exact same story. It's still a fucking great movie. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what you're critiquing about the movie is specific to Toby and Andrew, and it's not their film, is what I'm trying to say. So you have to give me more if you're going to deconstruct this film and say it's not good. Otherwise, you're just saying that it's
I
not
didn't
good
say it's
because of
not good.
expectation,
I didn't say it's not.
it's underwhelming.
It's underwhelming, and
Okay,
Look, Nerdman, this is the thing. I can agree with you that Toby and Andrew in the film was underwhelming. They suppressed them a lot. But for me, they did just enough. They could have done way more with each of them. They could have. They absolutely could have. That's really, I feel, the only missed opportunity with the Toby and Andrew thing. They could have done more. Because if I had to really be honest, you look at that third act, it's literally just 3 Spider-Man evading and running and doing flips and
right, and
then
I can
having
acknowledge all
little.
of that, and I can acknowledge my own expectations at points weren't
I say,
exactly met the way I built them up in my mind. But it's Tom Holland's movie, and it works as that.
yeah, as Tom Holland's movie. This is the thing.
That's how you're justifying it. You're going, oh, it's
Because that's the way it is. It's his fucking
it's
movie.
bullshit. It's bullshit.
What the fuck are we
Justi-
talking about?
Justifying it like that is like so basically Tom Holland gets to be like the best Spider-Man in this movie from default because they just didn't allow the other ones to actually do anything fucking great
It's
or
not
write
just
them in a
default. It's
way that they were consistent with their own fucking franchises.
because the
Basically,
villains.
Tobey Maguire turned up as Tobey Maguire. He
Okay, hold on a second.
wasn't Peter Parker from
Let's
fucking
take a
Spider-Man
step back
1
and let's
2.
analyze what you just said. Yes, they are downplayed to some extent, Toby and Andrew. But is that the reason that Tom Holland succeeds in this movie? It's not. No, it's not. It's not by default. He succeeds in this movie because he starts in one place, ends in a totally other place, right? And we see that progression and why it happens. From Aunt May dying to learning the lessons about responsibility to realizing that he can't have MJ and Ned just be in his life and everything's not just going to be fun all the time and there's no consequences to
Again.
anything and the world has to forget who I am. I have to give up not just Spider-Man but Peter Parker.
And you even poked holes in, you who love this movie poked holes in the way it was presented. You said it yourself. Aunt May didn't deliver the great speech. Nothing. Like, why do I even care this woman's dead? She's just a woman. She isn't even really Aunt May. She's just
I didn't go that quite that
she's
far
just
with
she's just a nice woman, basically.
I mean,
That's all she is in this movie. A nice woman. No inspirational speech.
Well, look,
nothing. Right?
well, look,
And then he was joking, and I didn't even mind that bit. You mentioned it. He was joking, like about, hey, what about your web, man? And are we curious? Hey, it's cool that like 5 minutes after, like he'd met them, and then
sure,
he got angry again for something.
It didn't detract so much though that I lost sight of what was happening.
I don't think it did as well. I just think it was mediocre. It did an okay fucking job of it because it didn't think really about character. It didn't think about that. It just thought about, let's just make sure that everyone's happy. That like Tobey Maguire came in like a fucking SNL sketch. Straight up facts.
God damn.
He didn't even try. He didn't even try to be fucking Peter Parker from the original franchise. And it wasn't written that way for him to do that. He just stepped in like, here I am. I might as well just be.
Listen, his entrance was
saying SNL sketch because if I watch this movie again and I think about that, oh my, don't you dare.
Listen,
I'll say SNL sketch because Nerman's gonna make me think about that shit when I watch this movie again.
That's what he does. He's trying to plant his eggs in your head like an alien. He's a fucking gaslighter, dude.
Nerman is a face hugger and he's trying to put the xenomorph babies inside of me. So I go in there and they burst out and I die.
In a couple of months, we'll be talking about how the Peacemaker HBO show has one of the greatest human character arcs he's ever seen.
Oh no, dude. Nerdman, Paul, there are many of you who is not excited for Peacemaker. I think I'm the only one excited for Peacemaker with
right, but even though he's not excited, that's just an act. When it comes out, he'll be going, that part when John Cena was in his tighty white, he's crying. I believed every second of it. He really came through for me. I believed him.
Oh my god.
Like, dude, I love you, Nerdman, but I understand some of your criticisms, and yeah, there were moments that there were things that were just okay, or they were flat out a little confusing or not great. But the good moments, right, outweighed the bad, and some of them were really great moments. And the stuff that was the best for me, the greatest stuff in the movie, surprisingly for me, was the Tom Holland stuff. And it wasn't just the ending with the suit and the graveyard scene and all of that. It was his acting when he was crying over Aunt May, and it was watching how he had trusted the goblin, and it was believable that time why he was being a little gullible and trusting and trying to do the right thing, and then he got burned for it and he learned a lesson. Or the talk he had with them on the building, which I thought there was nothing wrong with that scene. I thought that was organic to Toby and Andrew Spider-Man. They told their experiences, Tom told his. They all kind of had this moment about great power comes great responsibility. I can't really poke holes in that. It was great.
Show,
right?
not tell, right? Show, they told, they didn't show, right? Isn't that right? They just was like, oh, this is what I've been through in my universe. Good fucking writing. Didn't show what they'd been through. Didn't like, and I don't
They
mean
showed it.
show. I don't mean show in the sense like, oh, let's do a flashback or something like that.
I understand
mean,
what you're saying.
do it in a more nuanced fucking way rather than just go, hey, let's do a little history lesson like for each of us. It's like, dude, I don't like the writing is not fucking good. It's special effects. It's a special effects fucking, Fugazi fucking, whatever that allows you to gloss over the fact that this writing is not tremendously fucking good at all. Yes, it gets you from A to B, but it's like it doesn't get you there in a way that you should really feel fucking emotions for what's going on. And you should feel Aunt May should have got. If anyone cried when Aunt May died, they are fucking bullshitting me. I don't give a shit what they say. You are fucking bullshitting me because that did not necessitate nothing about the way it was directed, the way it was set up, anything should have.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. Now, I didn't cry in that moment, but when she's walking around like everything's okay, saying I just need to take a moment, he doesn't even notice that she's as injured as she is, and then she collapses down and dies almost instantly. That's not a good build up to an emotional moment.
They executed it well within the moment, but leading up to that moment, for her character journey to get her to that death was not done very well.
But that's a criticism of the other two movies, not this movie, though, right? To be fair.
No, it's a criticism of this one as well because they didn't give her the speech. They didn't give her anything to like really get you feeling for the fucking character, knowing that they hadn't built her up in the last two movies.
Yeah.
They should have done something like that.
She really only did just one thing, but I will say this. She did do just enough to push him, but I do agree overall, up until where she got, and she said the thing to Peter about the whole great power comes great responsibility thing. Like that line delivery, it did its thing. But the attachment that we're supposed to somewhat have was never there. For me, it wasn't there. I'm not saying it wasn't there for leaders or Nerdman. It wasn't there for me.
And by the way,
in that scene, Tom Holland really sold it. And that's why
he sold it. It was good.
If Tom Holland didn't sell it as much as he did, it would have been kind of, subpar and stuff. But Tom Holland really saved that moment.
Oh, by the way, where did Peter get that from? Because he basically said something very, very similar to Iron Man in Civil War, didn't he?
Say what?
About the with great power comes great responsibility. So it's something very, very similar.
No. He in the speech, not a speech, but the monologue he gave in Civil War was him talking about, bad things happen to the people around me and all that other stuff. It was kind of alluding to Uncle Ben, but mind you, really didn't mention.
It was alluding to Uncle Ben. But that's not a criticism of this movie. It's just something I noticed just now. But I'm just like, that's kind of strange that he said that in Civil War because that surely alludes to Uncle Ben telling him with great power comes great responsibility. But then again,
Yeah,
I
I
have
mean,
no problem with.
that's exactly what it was alluding to. It's great powers. They didn't say it, but it was trying to allude to that pretty much. But look, we forgot to mention the man, the myth, the legend, Daredevil, man. He didn't do much. But man, oh man, Charlie Cox, Nerdman, your boy came up in here, man. He did his lawyer shit. He came through. He got Tom Holland off, man.
Hey, that's my boy too, K-Dot. I fucking love the Daredevil character. I love
the only
Charlie
thing
Cox.
I'll say this, you guys, just one little critique. This is one little thing. A blind man just caught a brick and nobody cares.
Yeah, no, Peter Parker.
That's my only little thing. That's my only little thing. I was like, okay, I think they should be asking some more questions and stuff. This blind man just caught a brick.
I feel like there were a lot of cut scenes in this because there's like, I'm not referring necessarily to.
Yeah,
this
I feel like there's maybe more Daredevil
when he was like, like moving that magic box around. Spider-Man kept moving it when Doctor Strange was trying to get it. I feel like that was explained somewhere, but like they cut it out. But in that scene specifically, I was just like, yeah, it's kind of cool that Matt is defending him and stuff. It was a good little scene. Charlie Cox did it well.
You want to know what it is? You want to know what it is?
But Nerdman
does not want to let the MCU have the Daredevil show. He doesn't want to let them have it.
Well, I mean, to some degree, I can understand that.
No, I know what you're saying. You're fun. See, my own son trying to betray me and shit. This is what happens in biblical
Nerdman, I got your back, bro. Hey, I roll with. Look, this is the thing. People be hating on Nerdman, so I understand. Hey, you guys, look, I understand. Some people got the issues with some of Nerdman's critiques, but this thing, I understand a lot of what Nerdman's saying because I can agree with it for the most part, and I even disagreed with some. Alita said a lot of points that I agreed with, and I disagreed with some. That's the beauty of this review and stuff. That's the beauty of this review.
Yeah,
and another thing, thank you, Alita and Nerdman, for not using comic books in this review. Please, thank you. I love it. You guys just use straight up the movie.
Hey, I'm gonna betray that one time if you don't mind, because I know we gotta get out of here quickly.
Yeah.
Just one time. The comic books are part of what I loved so much about the ending of this movie. The last 10 minutes or so, it's like everything I've been so upset about with this Tom Holland, the portrayal, but not really the portrayal, more just the way it's been written and delivered.
Yeah,
it was like, holy shit, they are capable of giving me what I want. And they
listened, and then they just put everything there to get you to get on board with the fucking story at the end.
Yep, they got us. They got us.
They succeeded, man. I guess I'm in the pocket.
They got you again, bro.
And look, I'll say this because Nerdman can agree because he didn't like it. This same situation. Only to be fair, people did kind of let this slide for one character, but it was okay with it for Tom. I remember Zack Snyder had the same. Okay, it took 5 movies for Tom Holland to finally become this Spider-Man, right? 5 appearances.
No, but it wasn't on the same level as Superman. They butchered Superman much worse than this franchise did anything to Spider-Man.
I know, but hear me out.
Okay.
Zack Snyder's going to make us wait 5 movies for Superman to become Superman. Exactly 5. Yep. That's what he said.
Yep.
It took us 5 appearances in the MCU for Spider-Man to finally fucking act like Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in a way, even though I have a problem with that, if I get if we all get what we want by the end, and he's fucking 18 years old when he hits that point, him being in high school, it still works, right?
Yeah, like for me, like the stuff they show at the end of this movie, I'll be honest with you, like him knitting the suit, going back to the basics. Not saying he had to have the apartment stuff or be super old, but like just the basic little things, like the basics of Spider-Man should have been done the first one. It's like with the first Captain America, first Avenger movie. You got Captain America. They didn't make you wait 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 movies. Iron Man 1, you got Iron Man. Thor 1, you got Thor. I understand these universes, the way these are done, they want to kind of drag out a bit, but I'm not a huge fan of that dragging stuff.
I get it, man. I get it.
It's like, you need to get me in for, if this is a character that I don't give a fuck about, like, I don't know, a a Miss Marvel, okay, different story. I don't care about her. You can do whatever you want. You can drag out whatever nonsense you want. Kate Bishop, I don't really care about it. Drag out whatever you want. But with Spider-Man, I need my Spider-Man to act like Spider-Man in the first motherfucking movie. That's just me. Like in Civil War, when he first appeared, pure Spider-Man. In Homecoming, Far From Home, kind of a regression. And then he's like Spider-Man again. Like in Infinity War and Civil War, that was the most Spider-Man I ever seen Spider-Man be, was Infinity War and Civil War.
Right, when the Russos had him.
When the Russos had him, the Russo brothers gave us Spider-Man. John Watts like, all right, we're gonna Harry Potter this shit. I'm gonna make you guys, I'm gonna drag this shit out for so long. And then just give it to you guys all at the last scene. Like, and to be fair, characters like Batman, Spider-Man, all of them, they all need to be those characters day one first movie. Like, I hate that dragon shit.
And I agree with you, K-Dot, but I think, let me ask you this question quickly.
Yeah.
Because I've had a massive problem with it too. Nerdman knows the fucking review I gave of Far From Home. I can never talk about that movie again after that. It was legendary levels of just asteroids plummeting to the earth, just destruction. I fucking hated it, okay? Yeah. But I'm willing to forgive it in the sense that basically everything from Civil War to Thanos to these three movies were an origin story, right? And it worked in the sense that he was so young and we'd never seen him start out that young, that was just a really extended origin story for him to turn into the man.
They've really got your balls in a vice, don't they?
Elitist, I'll say this. Elitist, I'll say this. I'm willing to watch Tom Holland.
Got my balls in a vice. Hold on. Sorry, Kate. You're quoting The Dark Knight Rises on me over here?
Elitist, I'll say this.
What is he doing? Like,
I am willing to accept Tom Holland's
how he ended.
But I'll say this much. Civil War, Infinity War, in this movie, these are the movies where he is Spider-Man. Homecoming, Far From Home, and Endgame. Man, I don't care about the appearances. I wish the movies could be.
No, I get it, and I'm not saying like go back and watch those movies, but I'm just saying if because he was so young and now he's 18, right, and he's going to get his GED and everything, he's Spider-Man. Those movies were allowed in the sense that if we get this version that we saw at the end going forward, it's fine because you know what I'm saying. Like, we're never gonna have to deal with that shit again,
right?
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you know,
and see, this is the thing. That
fuck you, nerd man. I'll put my balls on your face, dude.
This is the thing. If after this, he's no longer some gullible little kid,
right?
Some kid that's up and down with his confidence, especially the confidence thing. Like, his confidence. If his confidence is up now, he's not unsure of himself. He's not a gullible little kid. I'm fine with it. I just,
you know what I got out of that ending, K-Dot?
Yeah.
Was that he finally found the strength to say, even though Aunt May's gone, even though Happy's gone, Tony's gone, I can't be with MJ. I can't have friends, really. I can't have anything.
Right.
Being Spider-Man is enough. I need to embrace that. He never fully embraced it before, right? He was trying to live two different lives, like Doctor Strange told him.
Yep.
I love the way you say embrace, man.
Oh, thanks.
Like, he embraces it, like just your whole like soliloquies about Spider-Man.
Well, I love the character, man. You know, he's my dude. And I think now, if that's the case, if what I got out of it is true, that he's embracing that instead of embracing all these other things in his life and trying to hold on to, like Doctor Strange said, living two different lives, right? Okay, well then now we're gonna get to see the version of Spider-Man we've all been wanting, or most of us have been wanting. So I'm cool with that as long as I get it. And this movie worked for me. Was it in-game level? No.
So what you're saying is this was a filler-in movie to get like Tom Holland to like the place he needs to get to, but like it's just a filler-in movie, basically.
I'm saying all of it mattered. I'm saying even though I don't like Far From Home, even though it was weird seeing Spider-Man go to space when he was 15, all the trauma being snapped away, everything he's gone through, this was the final nail in that coffin of like, I am no longer a boy. I'm more of a traumatized man who's left in his weight.
Traumatized man.
Well, I'm saying, like, think about it for a second. The dude's been to space. He's got PTSD from being snapped away. He's seen Tony get stabbed in front of him, fought aliens, seen his Aunt May killed because of something he allowed to happen. He's gone through all of this
Well,
trauma.
He's gone through consequences, and that's
Right.
what you like about the character. Like when he has,
like in this movie, the consequences in this movie is what we've been needing in Homecoming, Far From Home, and finally actual consequences, and I love that. Like real ones, not just little consequences. Like, oh, I lost a girlfriend, because he got another one. It's like,
and literally everything I had to complain about, from the secret identity not mattering and Aunt May just knowing he was Spider-Man, and everybody, I couldn't think in my wildest dreams that they would have been able to retcon or fix that in a conceivable fashion that was satisfying, and they did it. So I have to give them credit for that.
You don't have to, but
well, I'm saying, man, that's part of where the frustration for me was coming from. Was like, this isn't Spider-Man. This is not what he's about.
Spider-Man. It was always Spider-Man, dude.
Dude, there's no version of Spider-Man where he's running around and everybody fucking knows who he is and everything's cool, and they're just eating Chinese food and everybody's sexy, and everybody's having a vacation.
What are you talking about? Like,
what version of Spider-Man is that?
You're trying to say he's never been on holiday.
I'm not saying he's never been on holiday. I'm saying that it's never been extended like those two movies.
He's never been on a school trip in the comics. He's never been to like Europe.
I'm not saying that.
Oh, and look, also Spider-Man.
He wasn't an Avenger in the comics.
No, but Nerman, Spider-Man doesn't Spider-Man doesn't get a Tony Stark suit his first 6 months in as a superhero.
Look, I get it's not the best version of Spider-Man, but they didn't butcher like the whole fucking soul and structure of fucking Spider-Man. It was just a lame version of him.
I'm not saying
the Iron Man stuff didn't help. It didn't help his case either, but like he still had to like when that was, as your brother says, like when he was trying to pick himself up out of that rubble when the Vulture had buried him under all of that shit. It was pure Spider-Man.
That was, yeah.
Fucking pure Spider-Man. It was like it wasn't that was never really my problem with the thing, that it wasn't necessarily Spider-Man. I just thought the movies were fucking boring. They weren't that entertaining most of the way through. Like all of this stuff in high school. Yeah, like this one was definitely the most entertaining. All of his stuff in high school could go to hell as far as I'm concerned. Like, it could have been entertaining. It could have worked if the writing was better, but it wasn't. It was just trash. His early girlfriend sucked. Like that he was dating and him going to like the school parties and all that. It was all bullshit until
you got a little teen drama.
Until Vulture got in the cab with him and the movie started kicking off after that, right? Same thing with the second one. I'm like, well, I don't give a shit about like his little high school dramas, dude.
Right,
like,
Nerman, but also
the fucking movie.
But even though there were moments like the rubble, it was spurts of Spider-Man and spurts of something else, right? It was spurts of another character that you're like, this isn't quite what I'm looking for. And it's not that they butchered it. It's just like, I need more of what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. And in this movie, that maturation process was fulfilled.
Yeah, he lost a lot in this movie. I like the fact he lost a lot. And I gave it a 7 out of 10. I'm not being unfair to the movie. I think I'm being like, you've given it literally 1 mark above me. I think for the most part, it's a fun flick. I would recommend it to people who like these kind of movies. Like I wouldn't say like, oh, don't go and watch it because you're not going to be entertained, or it's not like they had big action set pieces. The jokes were funny enough. They weren't like the worst jokes I've ever heard in the MCU by a long stretch. I even chuckled at a few. They
wasn't eternal jokes for Nerd Man.
Yeah. Like J. Jonah Jameson was on point. I thought Doctor Strange had a few lines. I thought that line where he goes, let's get things sorted before the multiverse completely collapses, or even worse. What's his name? The Asian guy, the Sorcerer Supreme.
Wong.
Yeah, or let's get it sorted before the multiverse collapses, or Wong finds out. I thought that joke was pretty funny. There was some pretty witty jokes in here. One of the best jokes.
Oh, dude, the one about Tobey Maguire being a youth pastor was hilarious.
Pastor.
It was all right. I expected a bit more from Andrew's character. He usually had
Dude, when
he had.
Electro showed up naked, this woman in the theater goes, okay, loud as fuck in my
Hey,
theater. And
elitist, you wanna know what
yeah,
happened in my theater, bro? There
what's up?
was freaking assholes laughing when Andrew caught Gwen.
Really?
I mean, when Andrew caught MJ, like people was laughing and stuff. I was like, it's not a funny
Yeah, because
moment.
Yeah, someone was laughing when
that
Toby
well
stopped.
done. Yeah, go on.
No,
Someone was
it was done good, but it's like I know people seen Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I'm like, it's not supposed to be a funny callback.
Yeah,
Unless
definitely not. Someone was laughing when Toby was stopping the glider from Tom from stabbing the Green Goblin. I guess because of the face he was making. But it really annoyed me because they were like laughing loud as I was trying to like get into the moment, and I was like,
You
"This."
do
or
you
maybe
feel
elitist,
Tobey Maguire was
maybe
even acting in
elitist,
this
maybe they
movie?
were just cold-hearted people, man.
Because
Probably.
I don't know whose fault it is, whether it's the dialogue or whether it was Toby, because they basically
It was
they
definitely the writer,
MCU
definitely the
yeah,
writer.
they MCU'd Toby and Andrew. Basically, they
I disagree with
instead of they didn't do that to the villains, which is really interesting. Or those actors are just so fucking good. Willem Dafoe and
Doc
what's
Ock,
his name, and the
Alfred
guy who
Molina.
plays Alfred Molina. They're just such great actors. Also, fucking Jamie Foxx is no slouch when it comes to the acting department. They could just, despite the writing, still bring it back to feel like the characters they were from those older movies, right? Because
Mm.
for them, it worked. When I was watching them, I was like, oh shit, they're doing it. So they really are the characters from those movies in this universe, not like just some MCU version of them, right? They were acting, saying, speaking like those characters. When it came to Toby and Andrew, they slacked. I
I mean,
swear to
look,
God,
Nerman, I'll say
Toby.
this.
If
I'll
you
say
see
this.
Toby in an interview, he acts exactly the same as he is in this movie. There was no acting going on Toby's part.
Well, look, Nerman, I'll say this. Andrew, compared to Toby, did put in more effort when it came to the acting. I don't disagree with you about Toby kind of being a little bit, a little bit subpar.
I mean, I want you to do a 1-to-1, like when this movie comes out, like on, like so that you can see it, like online or whatever, like properly. When it comes out, I want you to do a 1-to-1 scene analysis between how they acted in their franchises and how they act in this movie, and you will see a stark fucking difference, bro.
Oh no,
Like
I do.
it's
Hey,
night
Nerman,
and
I
fucking
agree.
day. Andrew had so much more swag, so much cooler, so much, like weird stuff going on with his voice and stuff like that. Like where he, like as I said, he spoke in this staccato manner where, he couldn't even pull out a full sentence usually. Right. And then when he was Spider-Man, he was like really fucking with the jokes and stuff like that. And it was just a barrage of fucking jokes all the time. None of that happened in this movie. It was sad. I don't know. I thought
Like
that
I
would have
said,
been the more fun way to do it.
it was watered down because they know if Toby was Toby, and was Toby as much as Toby, we know who would be the better MCU Spider-Man. Let's we know what would have happened, Nerd Man.
I think it's just a missed opportunity more than anything. But again, as Film Elitist has said, from A to B, getting you from A to B, the journey of this story did what it had to do in a satisfying enough manner. And it's
Yeah.
good for that. I'll agree with him on that. I just don't agree that it's like it was pulled off in any way, shape, or form with some a plume, like really like in a great way or something like that. I just don't see that.
All right. Well, we should let's do some final words. I will say this as my final words for this, because I do got to get ready to work, get ready to go to
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
If I had to look at this movie in total of the year of like comic book movies, I'm kind of, for me, it's between this and James Gunn, The Suicide Squad for me. As far as like comic book movies, like I really like both of these. Like for me.
And where would you rank it in Spider-Man movies?
Spider-Man movies. Well, let me do a ranking real quick, and I can rank this. My ranking is Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Amazing 1, Into the Spider-Verse. No. Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse and No Way Home. So top five Spider-Man movies.
Right, exactly. So No Way Home is after that. I think it's my exact same ranking.
Yeah, so Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Amazing 1, Into the Spider-Verse, and No Way Home. Top 5. No, that's just
but
6.
No Way Home is number 5, right?
Yeah, I was saying, let me do that again. Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2. No, that's 5. That's 5. Top 5. Yeah, it's top 5. Top 5 Spider-Man movie. This is, if any, look, this is nowhere. This is definitely not better than Spider-Man 2. And I do not think this is better than Spider-Man 1. The Toby film so top this shit. I'm sorry.
You want me to do mine?
I mean, it's
do for the year, and then also
Yeah, for the year, same as K-Dot. It's between this and Suicide Squad. Probably lean this direction for now, but I have to watch it a few more times. Top 5 Spider-Man movies off the top of my head. Spider-Man 2 is number 1. Into the Spider-Verse is number 2. This is probably number 3. Then the first Spider-Man movie, and then I guess the first Amazing Spider-Man would be number 5.
Sorry, where did you put this? Number 2?
This would be number 3.
So Spider-Man 2, and then what one was also above it?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay, interesting.
But I will say, if this version of Peter Parker / Spider-Man is what we're getting from now on, I think it has the chance to be as good as any of those.
Sure.
I'm excited about that.
I think his college trilogy will be the real competitor for the Toby films.
Yeah, but I really doubt it though. But good luck on that one. I hope so as well. So this it doesn't. It's not as good as Justice League. It's not as good as Black Widow. It's about on par with the Suicide Squad. Maybe the Suicide Squad is a little bit better. It's a good movie. So it's not in the bad movies, but if you were to add Jupiter's Legacy or Invincible into the mix here, it's worse than those. It's definitely better than all of the
this is better than Jupiter's Legacy.
This is not better than Jupiter's Legacy, and the MCU movie shows as well. It's better than all of them, apart from Hawkeye. Hawkeye is better than this. That being said, in terms of Spider-Man movies, Amazing Spider-Man's better than this. Spider-Man 1 and 2 is better than this. Into the Spider-Verse is better than this. Then this movie. It's the best Tom Holland movie. That's as far as I can go.
I agree.
And it's a good movie. Mediocre good.
Well, you guys, our final grades, as we said, I gave this movie a 7 to 8 out of 10. Film Elitist gave it an 8 out of 10, and Nerdman gave it a 7 out of 10. You guys go check out Nerdman's channel. Nerdman, are you still going to be streaming after this?
No. I'm going to save it till tomorrow.
Well, Nerdman's going to be streaming tomorrow. So if you guys want to see this conversation continued, head over to Hot Takes Tuesday, and you'll be able to see Nerdman preach about some more shit. That's my father.
That's my son. All right.
Young Boy says Spider-Man 1 and 2, Into Spider-Verse, The Amazing Spider-Man, Homecoming, all better. Ooh, I would have put Homecoming.
Ooh, even Homecoming. Wow.
I like Homecoming, but I ain't putting it up that high.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Spider-Man 3 might be better.
Jesus Christ.
This is the thing, right?
Are you trolling? Is that you, Nerdman?
I mean,
look, I'm not even gonna lie.
I'll say
There's
No Way
aspects of
Home is a
Spider-Man
little
3
bit.
I like better.
No Way Home is above Spider-Man 3, but Spider-Man 3 ain't no like trash. You know, it ain't trash. It's definitely better than Homecoming and Far From Home. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
But look,
no, I can see what he's saying about Spider-Man 3 though. When you think about it,
I can't. Not that I don't hate that movie as much as some people, but no.
It's for elitists, is definitely the weakest of the three.
Oh yeah.
But look, at least we're about to walk away from this review knowing that we all still believe Tobey Maguire is still the best Spider-Man. That's all that matters. Tom Holland, I respect you now to an extent. I'm gonna watch your college trilogy. You got me excited. I love you, man. Tom Holland, kisses for you, bro.
Yeah, shout out to Tom Holland, man. We got to give him props.
Tom Holland is the weakest Spider-Man still. Not even props, bro.
Andrew for me.
He did a couple of good scenes that, like, any decent actor could have done.
I mean, wait. I mean, for me, it's Toby, Andrew, and then Tom. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, do your rankings real quick of your Spider-Man now after watching this movie. I'll do mine. It's Toby, Andrew, Tom, Elitist, and then we'll end it.
Okay,
so for me, number 1 still Toby. Number 2 is Tom. Number 3 is Andrew.
You are a fucking menace to society. You are. You're a fucking menace to society. I can't believe the words. All right, let's put this ranking where it should be. Number 1 is Toby. Number 2 is Andrew. Number 3, the kid from the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Number 4, the older Peter Parker from the Spider-Verse movie. Then Tom. Tom is an average actor that you could see in any Sylvia Young fucking play. Like, that's the acting school in the UK. Like, get any kid and they could have done those exact same scenes in almost the exact same way if you put the makeup on in the right way and make them look fucking sad. It was not special acting. It was decent. Toby and fucking Andrew shit on him in their franchises. That's all I have to say.
All right, you guys. We do got to get ready to head out here. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to take these 2 videos, cut them, and upload them separately. Thank you, Elitist. Thank you, Nerdman, for coming in for this review. I'm sorry I had to keep you guys up this late, but thank you for coming through. We're about to end this review. You guys, Film Elitist, Nerdman, awesome people. Thanks for coming on. But let's head up out of here.
Thanks, bro.
Everybody.
Man, I love this movie. Wait. This isn't ended yet.